fired up and ready to go for a new season. There is no better feeling. Let's get to Brian.
J.R. Hildebrand and his Panther crew did not qualify where they wanted to say the least. He's back in 24th, but perhaps they borrowed some setup information from Oriol Servia and Panther and Ryan Reinbold Racing. Very quick in morning warm-up was Hildebrand. He starts on red. He's looking to move forward at the drop of the green. Speaking of moving forward, let's get to Kevin.
Brian, this is the only rookie in the field, and he's fast. It's Tristan Vautier. He's won championships in the last 2 steps of the ladder, but he's never done pit stops before in a race, so that's something to watch. It went well this morning, but watch for Tristan Vautier, Jan.
And IndyCar has changed some of the race distances this year, so getting the roll off here off the pit road. This is one of them. They've added 10 laps to this race, meaning instead of having a 2-stop race, these cars that are rolling out to do battle most likely will be on pit lane 3 times today, opening up those fuel strategies.
And Jan, that's a real positive. We're looking forward to them just racing, not thinking so much about that fuel strategy. Hey, good news. Honda is bringing back the fastest seat in sports sweepstakes. And you can enter by logging on to shophonda.com. Yes, here comes that very special car. This week, Jen French, who is the winner of the silver medal for sailing in the 2012 Paralympic Games, has been awarded the lucky position of starting today's race and sitting in there behind legend Mario Andretti. It's time to talk to Jen. Hey, Jen, can you compare the two? What was better, winning a silver medal or riding with Mario Andretti?
Oh, my Lord. I think your experiences just in themselves to be behind Mario is, amazing. And we're just about ready to go on the back route on the airport, and I know he's going to let it open, and holy, here we go!
Well, enjoy the ride, Jen. We had time to ask a second question, but I think she just gave such a good natural reaction. We wanted to hear it. Fantastic. All right, it is time to meet the field. 25 cars we have got here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And if you missed the news yesterday, as we take a look at the grid, Will Power, for the 4th consecutive year here at St. Pete, snatches the pole position. And it's 1 Chevy and 1 Honda on the front row. Townsend?
Yeah, starting in row 2, Simona Di Silvestro, really excited about her run today next to James Hinchcliffe, qualified 4th.
Got Elio Castroneves in 3, and Vautier, the rookie, he's been very impressive this weekend. He has really been fast.
It was interesting to watch him behind the pit report there when Kevin was talking about him, had the eyes closed. He was just in the zone. How important is that?
I think it's real important. I think what we're going to have to watch here is pit stops. I think that's going to be really crucial for those guys because he's not used to doing that in the IndyCar series. So that's going to be, we're going to watch that first pit stop, how they get through it.
Guys, row 5, another young hotshot, Sebastian Saavedra, really impressive qualifying run.
Serbia is looking good there. I mean, that was really encouraging for him in a new season in that Panther Dryer Reinbold car. As we roll through the grid, you can look for your favorite driver. There are some big names farther down the grid that were real surprises in qualifying, like Simon Pagenaud, like Scott Dixon. We'll see what Tag and James Jace can do there in that 10th row, Wally. That was one of the big talking points.
And, you know, Townsend and I went down there this morning, and we looked underneath the tent at Ganassi, and they had both cars were completely tore apart. They made a lot of changes on that between warm-up and the race.
You heard Brian's report about J.R. Hildebrand. He's looking to improve and in 25th position there. Anna Beatrice is back in the IZOD IndyCar Series. Welcome her back. Here is the National Guard on board of J.R. Hildebrand. A really encouraging practice, as we've already heard, the final warm-up, we should say, this morning. So let's hope he can convert that into a good result. The battery tender on board for the Midas machine of Graham Rahal, the youngest ever winner of the series. And here we have the onboard shot of Justin Wilson in the Sonny's machine. And then the defending champion, Ryan Hunter-Ray, and the Verizon onboard will give us this kind of a view. And Simona Di Silvestro has an onboard as well. And we are pleased about that because we get the feeling she's going to be in the thick of the action, just like this man here who starts from pole position. The fireworks go off, and we wonder if they will go off here on the streets of St. Pete today, because it certainly has got that history about it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we're going to see, you know, we saw some contact during the weekend, and that's one thing these guys are going to really have to manage, is try to keep those wings clean. You know, you got to force your way in sometimes to make a pass here, Townsend, and I tell you what, these wings, they're not the strongest thing in the world. If you make contact, it could ruin your day.
They're certainly not. I can tell you, most of these drivers on these warm-up laps, they are totally focused on getting temperature into the front tires. So many drivers in this grid have struggled with front grip in this series since last year. Their setups that they used to have that worked, not working this year. They've had to make wholesale changes, like the Ganassi cars, like Pagano, etc.
This is huge news, this ABC Supplies car of A.J. Foyt, the 7-time champion, having a car on the front row. Now, you may remember that Mike Conway qualified second at Baltimore last year. However, there was a penalty, and he did not start on the front row. It's the first time since 2000, 13 years ago, that A.J. Foyt has had a car start on the front row. This could be the beginning of a magical relationship.
It really can. It's amazing because I can remember when an A.J. Foyt car was not the first one you'd want to jump in this field. Today, it certainly looks to be the best of the Hondas so far.
Now, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast about Dan Weldon Way. Well, earlier this week on Thursday, there was something special for Dan here. A monument was erected for the man, our friend that we call Lionheart. There is his wife. There is his widow, Susie. The family still lives here in St. Petersburg, Susie and the two boys. And she has the honor of waving the green flag today. Dan's sister Holly did it last year. Susie will do it this year. It will give her great pleasure. The beginning of the 2013 IZOD IndyCar season is right here, ready to roll with Will Power on the pole, Takuma Sato outside. Let's go for a new racing season.
Power just buried him on the start.
Inside, Elio Castroneves gets Simona Di Silvestro. Gets a position. Hinchcliffe is third. Good, clean through turn one, Townsend.
Unbelievable. Historically, a 60% chance of a yellow, but they are clean through here so far. Simona was conservative. Hinch got her. Elio got her, but she's back in fifth right now.
Vautier, the rookie, he's in there in the mix. Oh, on the inside,
wow,
Frank Kitty on Hunter Ray. Ganassi are going to come out fighting.
Franchitti knows he has got to make aggressive but smart decisions early in this race if he's got any chance.
Riding with Ryan Hunter-Reay, the series champion, looking at a 4-time champion. So what will Frank Kitty and Dixon do today? They know the gloves are off. They've got to come out swinging.
And they're driving a car that probably don't know exactly what this got. Like I said, they made a lot of changes between the warm-up and right now. So he's still trying to figure out what this car is going to give him.
Remember the point that Jan made earlier in the broadcast. This race is an extra 10 laps longer this year. 3-stopper for sure. There's Vautier. We work our way back to Marco Andretti. And then Tony Kanaan. Then Dario Franchitti is in the mix. Back to Wilson, chasing Charlie Kimball. And then Scott Dixon. On board with Wilson.
See, Wilson's got the reds on. Kimball's got the blacks on.
He's got his push to pass. That was his first use of push to pass. Gives you an extra 30 to 40 horsepower, I'm told, on the straights, and it worked.
You will get 10 pushes on that push to pass. Kimball nearly into the wall.
And we've seen that a lot with the blacks. The cars have been really, really loose this weekend.
2 choices of tyre. You must run each of them once. So the prime tyre is the black tyre that Wally was alluding to. The red is the alternate or option tyre, and that's what Justin Wilson's on. It's a softer compound. It's a little stickier. Look at the lead that Will Power has already over Sato and Hinchcliffe and Castroneves, the 3-time winner. Through one of the trickiest corners on this track, this 1.8-mile track, turn 10. It's a corner that bites and has got many over the years.
It certainly has. I was a victim there once. But look at Sato. Look at your Firestone Fast 6 all clustered together here, Brian.
I talked to Don Halliday, who is the engineer for Takuma Sato before the race. We had a lot of fog this morning, and there was no sunshine on the racetrack, so the track temperature was considerably lower. It was a bit of an unknown. He said, we've made some changes, but the balance of the car is going to change all day long, especially with these new Firestone tires that we don't have a lot of data on. Jan?
That's right, Brian, and you heard Lee talk about it as well, the description between the black and the red sidewall. The one thing they do not know, the drivers and the teams, these red sidewall Firestones are new for this year. They tried to make the split wider, so they want to have them possibly go off sooner, but they don't know about the longevity. Still more to come.
Kanaan started back farther than what he thought he should have. They made a little bit of mistake in qualifying, went the wrong way, but he still felt like he had a good car. He said, I really think we should have qualified about 7th, so my goal is to pick up 4 on the first lap. He came close. I think he's gotten 3 already.
And when you're a series champion like Tony Kanaan is, you don't like your new teammate, e.g. Simona Di Silvestro, stealing the headlines from you, which she has done this weekend. So look for TK to bounce back today.
Jan is curious to see if he's going to use a push to pass. It looks like he may have.
Yeah, We don't have push-to-pass info, but he does get inside there. These KV racing cars look so locked down in the rear. It allows Kanaan and Simona to really charge the entry of the corner and get to the power very aggressively. Look at him disappear after passing Marco.
So you can see there that Ryan Hunter-Reay has got by Dario Franchitti. Now, Franchitti is falling into the clutches of Saavedra, who has been really impressive this week. Good. It was an encouraging qualifying from Marco yesterday. Didn't quite make the Firestone Fast 6, but it was a good, strong top 10.
Curious to see what Hunter-Reay does exiting this last corner. Critical to think about, do I use a push to pass? Do I want to use him this early? Let's see what happens.
Good point. Too early. You only get 10 around 110 laps, so you've got to use them sparingly. You've got to be decisive. And when is it going to work the best? Here comes Sebastian Saavedra on Dario Franchitti. Looked at me on the inside as we ride with... And he got it. He got it. The white car on the red car. Saavedra got Franchitti.
He did, and he used a push to pass. He's got 9 left.
This young man has been impressive this weekend. He stepped away from the series, went back to Firestone Indy Lights, kind of took his medicine, and now he's back in the big time, and he's performing in Dragon Racing.
You know, we talked to team owner Jay Penske on Friday, and he said Saavedra's really got to work hard to match Bourdais. He's doing every bit of that today. Look at this pass. Great on the brakes, very clean and tidy down to the apex. He takes the apex away from Franchitti. He's got the position in the next corner. One
of the big movers has been Graham Rahal, and you can see him. Here's the pass Saavedra while he on the inside behind the 2 yellow cars. Rahal and Serbia going at it. So there's been plenty going on. Serbia's gone back. He's dropped to 13th place.
And Will Power has just been clicking off some very fast lap times.
Simona Di Silvestro running in the top 5. It's Power, Sato, Hinchcliffe, and Elio Castro Neves. There's over 500 guests here today from ABC Supply for the AJ Foyt car, the famous number 14. They'll be loving seeing Sato, but he's got some work to do if he's going to catch Will Power. You're watching NBC Sports Network's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Honda, an official vehicle of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Farm or trail, Polaris has what you want. Legendary ATVs, led by the powerful Sportsman 850 HO. Value-minded side-by-sides, featuring the new Ranger 800 midsize. And full-size workhorses, including the all-new class-leading 60-horsepower Ranger XP 900. Polaris, hardest working, smoothest riding. Huge rebates and low financing are available right now during the Polaris XP sales event.
There's only one car company in America that's never made a single car. And while you won't find Firestone cars on any showroom floor, they're out there, running better, faster, stronger, longer. No, we don't build cars. Make no mistake, Firestone is a car company. So whatever you drive a Firestone.
Whoa.
Nobody insures more bikes than Progressive. Do you guys ride?
Well, no. Sometimes. Yes. Yeah.
Well, if you know anybody else who also rides, send them here. We got great coverage. It's not like bikers love their bikes more than life itself. I doubt anyone will even notice.
Leading the pack in motorcycle insurance. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
After their slow start, superstar Thierry Henry looks to ignite the Red Bulls and charge to a victory over conference rival Philly. All rise for Major League Soccer, Saturday at 3:30 on the NBC Sports Network.
2 great races on one network. Formula One racing returns with the Petronas Malaysia Grand Prix next. And in 2 weeks, IndyCar continues with the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama live on the NBC Sports Network.
You're watching the NBC Sports Network's live coverage of the season opener for the IZOD IndyCar Series. This is the Honda Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, and this is a man, Will Power, in the Verizon Penske machine. This is the 8th consecutive season Will Power has led a race. and he is drifting away. He's got 3.8 seconds advantage over the field at the moment, but it hasn't all been straightforward.
No, Lee, check this out. Whoa, big oversteer moment in practice. His left hand, watch this, off the wheel. Massive, massive correction. This guy drives on the edge all the time, and it doesn't faze him one bit.
I went and saw him yesterday after that happened, and he kind of, in typical willpower, low, kind of no fuss way, said, yeah, I kind of hung it out there, didn't I?
He's a little slower than that. He's sort of like, yeah, sort of came out there.
He wasn't too phased. There's the gap. That's what 4.3 seconds looks like back to the first Honda-powered car of Takuma Sato. James Hinchcliffe is third in the GoDaddy machine. And then you pick up the second Penske car, Elio Castroneves in the Hitachi machine. Simona Di Silvestri is still in fifth, and the rookie, the only rookie in the field, Tristan Vautier, is running in the top 6. Meanwhile, his teammate Simon Pagenaud, his miserable weekend continues. The Frenchman has gone from 19th to 22nd.
Yeah,
they're teammates.
They haven't been able to get the push out of their car all weekend. You know, the car's understeering, which means it won't turn, and that's what they've struggled with mainly.
Vautier's not looking too bad, though.
No, he's done a great job.
Usually what you see happen in this deal is if you start with a fast rookie teammate like a Simona, like a Tristan, as the season progresses, you see their setups start to merge. The fast driver or the slower driver says, hey, it's working for that guy. I got to figure out how to drive that setup.
Elio Castroneves was very pleased this morning after the warm-up. Said, I don't know what happened, but when I started this weekend, I did not like my car at all. And every session, it has become better. He had braking issues, and Townsend and Wally, of course, his issue was when he got on the brakes, he just couldn't get it to turn. But they've solved that issue. He's much happier.
Yeah, a lot of people that we've talked to down there, that these cars, it's such a fine line on the balance. You've got to get the balance just so right, or you will have those brake issues. And it just seems like this year, setups are just so much more critical that, you know, everybody is just trying to find that sweet spot.
So here
you see Tristan Vautier here, the 23-year-old Frenchman has won the Star Mazda, which is now called Pro Mazda, here 2 years ago. Last year he won the Firestone Indy Lights race. Wouldn't it be just an amazing feat if he could go on and win on debut? Brian, this young man is impressive.
He's very impressive, and he's very calm. I spoke to him after the morning warm-up, and he had a big smile on his face. He said, yes, I'm having fun. It's good, and I've learned a lot. He seems so calm. The car really doing what he wants it to do, and as you said, the teammates just not running similar setups, but for Vautier, it works. The biggest thing for him to watch is going to be pit stops. He's not used to making them. They practice them all morning long in morning warm-up, but that could be the difference on where he finishes on the racetrack, what he does in pit lane.
And get back to Townsend's point, it's not so much the drivers wanting to try the setups, it's the engineers that you have an issue with sometimes, not wanting to go to the other guy's setup.
You're absolutely right. Now let's take a look at Graham. He did get by Franchitti, I believe it was, just a little bit ago.
Graham Rahal, remember he won back here in 2008, the youngest ever winner in the IZOD IndyCar Series. He is serious about this season. He has shed 12 pounds in weight in the off-season, looking very fit, feeling good, and here's the pass he put on Franchitti in turn 1.
Just getting down the inside there. Again, very tidy on the brakes. Franchitti giving up where he should there and slotting in the line. Let's watch the replay. Picture perfect.
That's the place to do it here at St. Pete. And look who's in the background. Joseph Newgarden for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing. He had been good in some practice sessions, couldn't quite get it together for qualifying, but he's feeling confident. Got his best result here of 11th last year. We'll see what he can do this year if he can top 10. He said he's got to convert performance into points, into results. I'm tired of people saying I'm fast. I've got to do that, and that's up to me. Kevin?
I've got a fellow Ball State alum with me. One of us has been a little more successful than the other. You guys have been working on getting Graham back to Bobby's team and your team for a while. How happy are you that this has come to fruition?
I think it's delightful. I love Bobby. I love Graham. Graham's a tremendous racer, and Bobby was in a class by himself. So I think it provides great energy.
How much do you enjoy being at the racetrack, growing up in Indianapolis and following IndyCar all your life?
It's tremendous. I mean, a day like today, and if we can get willpower to get off the gas a little bit, have a race, but beautiful afternoon.
All right, enjoy the day. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
That's David Letterman. And Graham was on his late show on CBS last week. The topic was top 10 things you don't want to hear in your in-car radio. My favorite was number 10. You don't want to hear the spotter say, are you in the green car or the red car?
He did well. Graham did really, really well, and he said that he was a little bit nervous because he didn't want to mess it up and have to cause them to do it again. So he really enjoyed that, and of course that is one of the big storylines of the 2013 season. Ray Hall and Ray Hall, father and son, are finally together.
You know, it hasn't been a picture-perfect start in preseason testing. They struggled a bit with setup, but they've been working hard. What I love about Graham is he didn't seem that flustered. He really maintained his confidence. He knew what he was capable of, just kept his head down. They've worked hard. You can see it paying off now. They look like they have a great race setup.
The pressure on him.
Ray Hall's not the only one making good forward progress. So too is Joseph Newgarden. We'll continue to monitor those guys. Saavedra has dropped. He's fallen back a little bit. Meanwhile, our race leader is well in control, Wally, nearly 7 seconds out in front.
I just want to point out that Ray Hall's still on the harder compounds, too. He's making ground.
Can anyone catch this man today? That's the question.
We know some people just can't leave things be. They wonder how much faster this thing could go. What if it weighed less or turned sharper? They know that things can always be better. We count ourselves among those people. Introducing the quicker, sleeker, smarter, best Civic Si yet, made possible by Honda.
Honda, proud partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
The command has been given. Row 1, let me know. Row 1 on. Row 2 on. 3 hot. 5 hot. These cars rolling.
Live in-car cameras. 4-in-1 mosaic. Having your heart race as fast as theirs.
Hey, good screen.
That's powerful.
Here they come to the green flag.
Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
Tonight at 7 Eastern, the NBC Sports Network brings you the final regular season showdown between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. The battle for Keystone State continues. It's Flyers-Penguins tonight at 7 Eastern, right here on the NBC Sports Network. We welcome you back to St. Pete here in Florida. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, Wally Dallenbach, Robin Miller, Brian Till, Jan Beekes, and Kevin Lee. And everyone, well, 24 of them, are chasing this man here, Will Power. He has a 9-second lead at the moment. While we're away, though, there were some stops, and Simon Pagenaud mirroring the strategy that he did last year. 12 months ago, he came in on lap 12 because he had an engine penalty. He had to start from 16th. He was buried in the pack. Didn't kind of quite work out with the yellows last year. Pagenaud came in on lap 14 here just a couple ago.
I wouldn't be surprised if he came in because he didn't have any front tires left.
And Wally, that's exactly why he came in. He had been complaining of understeer and had worn those front tires out. They went and stayed with the red sidewall Firestone. So early strategy, just like you said, because the fronts were going away. I
want to give you some progress positions, some movers in the pack. Kanaan has gone from 11th to 7th. Dixon 20th to 16th. Rahal, we've been talking about, 15th to 10th. And Hildebrand 24th to 19th. Guys going in the right direction. Here is the Hitachi machine of Elio Castroneves, and yes, that is a positional change. It was the lap ago. Elio got past Hinch, and this is how it happened.
Elio pops up pretty early. Again, late on the brakes. Right there's the critical moment, hitting the brake pedal, carrying your speed down to the apex. Nice, clean pass. So far, we haven't seen guys defend very aggressively at all, Wally.
No, and you know, Castroneves was having some issues down there in turn one under braking. That was one of the problems they had that they were fighting, so obviously they got that fixed because we haven't seen any lockups on that 3 car yet.
Remember the blocking rule, same as it was last year. You can be proactive, but not reactive. Jan?
Scott Dixon has come in for his stop. He's already underway. He, of course, is another one that has had this weekend just big issues with getting the car to turn. They said they made progress in the morning warm-up, but he says we are just somewhere out of the window of getting this car to turn. I just don't like a car that has too much understeer.
It has been quite a head-scratching and head-shaking time for the Ganassi guys, and his engineer, Eric Bretzman, said, we have tried to dial out all of the understeer in this car. We've got nothing left. We don't know where to go. It's been a tough time. It's been a frustrating time.
So many of these teams have 3 or 4 kind of home base setups from last year, places that they go with the car that they know work, and I've heard over and over again, we've tried to go to our favorite top 2, top 3, Tagliani's another driver, they haven't made it work. Brian?
Sebastian Saavedra in, red's coming off, black's going on. He's complaining that the car not handling well. Barrett Narain had been talking to him about way high tire pressures. Franchitti now on pit road.
Yes, and he's just leaving, Brian, and he made the choice to go from the red sidewalls to the black. So a little different strategy between team cars and up and down pit road. Franchitti underway.
And comes out just in front of Justin Wilson there. Cycles back. Oh! Hits the wall! Dario's in the wall!
Big hit.
You know, I was just going to say, these guys coming out on cold tires, I couldn't believe how aggressive he was getting out of the pit.
And what happened, Wally, is he's probably on cold tires, slid a little out of the groove. Look at the marbles building right now. Yeah. We're only 19 laps into this thing. He got a little bit offline, got in the marbles, and it's game over.
These cars are treacherous on cold tires. They are a handful. And boy, he really came out fast.
Now, look, the pits are open straight away, so they dove straight in here. Here's Marco.
That same thing or similar thing happened to Dario's Ganassi teammate Charlie Kimball just a couple of years ago. Serviced and sent. There goes Graham Rahal, and was there contact there? Almost contact between he and Hildebrand. It is frantic on pit lane. Off goes Oriol Servia. Newgarden's been serviced. Has he been able to leapfrog several positions? Sebastian Bourdais is there, James Jakes, and then Hildebrand.
Oh, don't do that. That's very. I'm very surprised here. Hildebrand ducks under Jakes on pit lane. If he's past the line, I think you're under full course yellow there. You can't pass.
He's out race leader.
Can't pass in pit lane.
Young.
Just keeping an eye on the Ganassi situation. We're going to try to get in to find out what happened. Will Powers making his pit stop up. Of course, thankfully no miscues for him. He doesn't have to certainly worry about the rest of the traffic around him.
Get the pace car, turn 9.
Simona Di Silvestro serviced and sent. What a run she had. Top 5. She remained in the top 5 right up until this first yellow. Good opening stint. Hunter Ray, who was not able to get by his teammate Marco Andretti.
Hustle.
That's his teammate, Marco Andretti, coming up on the accident. Now, these guys are hustling for the pack-up because there's a blend line at the end of pit lane. Depending on where you hit that blend line determines your order for the restart. So Marco's at full steam.
Let's show you one more time what happened to Dario Franchitti, and we've got several angles for you to just fully explain this situation.
As I said, he came out of the pits just flying. Cold tires, like Townsend said, you got cold tires, you slip out of the line a little bit and get in the marbles in your history. That's just a mistake.
You can see those marbles there. The front tires take an extra lap and a half over the rears to come in. Boom.
And look who's right behind him, his teammate.
Yep.
Oof.
What a tough day for Ganassi.
It has been a miserable weekend, to say the least. Looking back from Justin Wilson's car. Here's Dario, first car in shot.
And when we talk about push, that's what a push is. That's just in front, not turning.
And if I'm not mistaken, Scott Dixon has done that on that very corner before as well. So, tough times for the 4-time champion. Dario Franchitti is out of the Honda Grand Prix of St. Pete. And that is a tough walk home. Dario Franchitti, 4-time champ, 3-time Indy 500 winner, is out of the season opener after just 19 laps. And there is his Target Chip Ganassi machine.
The worst feeling in the world, Lee, to have to go back to your guys that have worked all off season so hard over this weekend to get that car working, and to have a mistake like that, it just kills you. But I gotta tell you, when you're a multi-time champion, multi-time Indy 500 guy, winner, you get some credit.
That's how it works. Quick reminder to download the IndyCar 13 app. Call ** Indy or search the App Store or Google Play, only from Verizon. It's pretty easy to do. Now, while we're under our first full course yellow, let's check in with Robin Miller.
Lee, and with Susie Weldon, it's been an emotional week. You and the kids got your hands set in stone, then you did a nice job throwing the flag. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's nice to be here. You know, a little bittersweet, but just so much love and support from everybody at St. Petersburg and my racing family. And I was a little bit nervous about the flag because I was told that it would have like a strap on it, but it didn't. So just thank goodness I didn't drop it. And one of the cars run over it and ruin their weekend.
Do you think... Has your youngest son, Sebastian, has he figured out race cars? Do you think does he like them?
Yeah, they both actually are really into racing, and you know, Sebastian especially, he's a little bit older. He's just turned 4, so he's always wanting to know when Scott Dixon's coming into town to race and where the race cars are. And you know, they're definitely aware of everything, and they just are having a great time being here, and everybody's doting on them, and a lot of the drivers have been taking them out for rides on their golf carts and scooters, and so they're just loving it.
So as bittersweet as it is, this is your family.
Yeah, it is, and I feel like they'll always be a part of my family. You know, obviously it was a big part of my life, and I still want my children to kind of grow up around it and be exposed to it. And I'll always feel like this is my family.
Well, Susie's already said she'd do the grid run with me, but it's got to be the rows have to be a little closer together.
Thank you, Robin, and lovely to hear from Susie as well. Now, while we're under this yellow, let's revisit a story that we threw up there at the top of the show, and that involves the only rookie in the field, Tristan Vautier. There he is there, one behind Simona in the orange and black and white car there, Wally. How did he go on his first pit stop?
Well, we'll take a look. I think he did a pretty good job. I mean, again, he's been running in a couple of series the last few years where you haven't had to make pit stops, so this is all, you know, very different to him. But I'm looking here. I'm trying to look at the jack here. No, it looks like they kept the car up, but no, everything was fairly clean for them.
Fueler got a little stuck. Now, remember, these are the Sam Schmidt Indy Lights guys. They actually worked on my Indy 500 car last year, so a couple of them not used to doing a full season, but it looked okay. Didn't lose a spot.
Hey, Brian, the Schmidt-Peterson team, they've been working very hard with him, and before today's race, Tristan said, long runs and pit stops are new for me. I've just got to be careful of not running over my mechanics. We'll get back to that in a moment, but let's check in with Jan. Jan?
And with Dario Franchitti, we saw you make that long walk up pit road. I know you were taking chances right from the start, trying to make up because your car's been not what you wanted this weekend?
No, we've really struggled with the car, and that's what I was just saying to Chip. I said, you know, I had to try and make it up somewhere, and I just stepped over the line there. Cold tires, hit a bump in 3 with the right height being so low and the low tire pressures, and got on the marbles and hit the wall. So, you know, totally my mistake, just pushing too hard, trying to get back on level pegging somehow, and I stepped over the line.
Do you feel like you'd made some progress with the car?
From Friday afternoon, yes, but we're a long way from where we need to be. I mean, we're just, we've got some progress to make on the car and some other areas too. We're a bit of work to do.
Thank you, Dario.
Thank you.
Definitely not something that's expected for Target Chip Ganassi Racing. You would expect they would start the season as strongly as anyone, but they're struggling.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side rebuild. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
There's only one car company in America that's never made a single car. And while you won't find Firestone cars on any showroom floor, they're out there, running better, faster, stronger, longer. No, we don't build cars. But make no mistake, Firestone is a car company. So whatever you drive a Firestone.
Think fast.
It all comes down to this. The MAP TV 500 IndyCar World Championships at Auto Club Speedway, October 18th and 19th. Get your tickets to see the world's fastest drivers at IndyCar's fastest track battle under the lights to be crowned world champion. Go to AutoClubSpeedway.com or call 800-944-RACE. Racing tickets start at just $30 plus special discounts for AAA members. The MAP TV 500 IndyCar World Championships at Auto Club Speedway. Get your tickets before they're gone.
Think fast.
Thanks for watching our live coverage of the season opener for the IZOD IndyCar Series. We are still under the first full course yellow, but it won't be long before we go back to green. On that pit stop cycle, one of the winners was Elio Castroneves. He was right up there behind his Penske teammate. But Townsend, he got the day off to a really good start at the start.
He certainly did. When I was in this situation, I was always thinking about the other driver's mentality. Where are they in kind of focus, overall position in the championship? Obviously the first start of the season, but stop right there. So Elio at this point sees a wide open path. You see Elio here. First person he's got to pass is Simona. Okay, Simona's right there. What's she all about? She's all about just getting through the first corner cleaner. Elio is all about, I need to get to the front. I need to stay with my teammate Will. He took a chance, not as big as what he did in 2011 and caused the big accident, but it paid off today.
Boy, something else we saw there, Wally, that I didn't notice in the initial start was Marco Andretti got the front end up over the strip and almost went into the side of Hunter Ray.
And I'm just glad that Townsend finally got to play with the telestrator. He's been sitting here all morning just with that pen in his hand. He just can't wait.
My hand was literally shaking with enthusiasm. Let's watch this restart.
They pack up. It's time to go racing. And Simona Di Silvestro goes to the inside on Sato. Is that going to work out?
For abreast here.
She's going to do what Elio did to her or not? No. Sato keeps it. The Penske boys are side by side, and Elio's going to get the lead. Elio Castroneves gets the lead away from Power. He wants to win 4 times. He's won 3. Nobody's in Elio's league on this track.
Watch
Hinch taking a look. Yeah, Hinch is going to get the spot. Yeah. Oh, Rahal.
Rahal and
He hit that big curve, too.
Wilson on the inside of Graham Rahal now. Scott Dixon got a front row seat of that.
Wow, look how slow they are through here. Everybody's really boxed up. Look at that. Somebody getting...
Yeah, they're kind of...
They almost stopped.
Oh, there we go. EJ Vizo, Charlie Kimball, Sebastian Bourdais, and James Jakes.
These are blind corners in that section. It's like a concrete canyon. If somebody's checked up, if there's a stack up, you're going right into the back of them. There's Beatrice.
Anna Beatrice has come to a stop.
And that's stalled. See what happens here. Looks like... Oh, Kimball got hit.
Bia hit like Kimball, perhaps, or Servia. Then he checks up. Then everybody comes in.
Simon Pagenaud is in. This is the Schmidt-Hamilton HP machine. Oh, no, J.R. Hildebrand. Turn 10.
Now, he's got his hand in the air saying, start me.
It looks like he's got a lot of wing damage, too, so he may have made contact with somebody.
Clearly, the anti-stall system, which we've been watching, is not working there. Servia in for a front wing.
I bet there was contact between those two guys.
Kevin?
Oriol Servia is coming in for a stop here, unscheduled in this circumstance. We'll take a look at what happened. He was one of the many that has been involved in a lot of contact here, so he's getting a new nose to address that. So that's going to take a little bit of time. He's back out, though. That's a quick change.
Yeah, but, Servia is going to be okay. I mean, if he doesn't get lapped on this deal, that was a quick change for a full nose. Obviously, Hildebrand going down a lap.
So Oriol Servia will be just fine, but we had 2 cars out there calling to help. Now, there's been a lot of work done on the anti-stall system, and unfortunately that has not been a help at the moment to Anna Beatrice or J.R. Hildebrand. Here is the restart. And this was wild.
And I'll tell you what, that's a strong move by Castroneves. That's an outside pass right here. Got the car a little bit sideways, but he was in position for the next corner, which is he was on the inside.
Wally, you and I talked to Elio. We asked him about the willpower disadvantage on pace. He is sick and tired of hearing the willpower, pole story, and pace. Let's watch what happened with Hildebrand.
Oh, right in the back of James Jakes.
Okay, now Hildebrand, he made contact there. Now he's still going to wind up in the tires.
His front wing is damaged. He might not know it. Oh, there it is.
There it goes.
I'll bet he can't see that. He goes hauling in here.
Oh, no. Sebastian Saavedra gets into him at turn 10.
There we go.
And we understand that incident is under review from race control. I have to say that was unnecessary.
I don't know, Lee. You know, in a situation like that, Hildebrand's damaged. Saavedra's got an easy run down the back straightaway. He's probably thinking the wing's coming off. He's like, this should be an easy pass, and it's one of those awkward situations. He gets in there, and then Hildebrand at the last second probably thinks, well, I've got the corner. I wouldn't put that on Saavedra at all.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. If anything, Hildebrand should have got out of the way a little bit for the guys that were coming up behind him.
Here's Jan.
Simon Pagenaud, obviously you're out of your car, but not because of contact. We just saw a lot of contact on the course, but you look like you had a mechanical.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit of a nightmare weekend for us. We haven't had any good session apart from the warm-up, and we broke a component, it's actually an exhaust, so the engine couldn't run full power, and there was no point on going out there and damage the engine and not be well placed in Barber. So, it's unfortunate. I love this racetrack, but we know we got to work a little bit and come back to Barber and try to score a lot of points.
All right, thank you.
Simon Pagenaud, last year's Sunoco Rookie of the Year, who went from 16th to 6th here a year ago, is out of this one and is playing catch-up right from the word go. Here's a replay. Look to the top of your screen. There's Anna Beatrice getting into Charlie Kimball.
Now, what we don't know is if Servia got into Beatrice, which led to the contact with Kimball, but either way, it was a mess.
And on board with J.R. Hildebrand, James Jakes up ahead. Boom.
And like you said, Townsend, a lot of these places you can't see. Obviously, Hildebrand thought it was going to keep rolling. That's why he didn't stop. Ran in the back of Jakes.
You know, a lot of people saying this is the year that JR really's got to start putting up some results. You know, they've been struggling a little bit, but they really got it going in the morning warm-up. I was hopeful for him. He was going to have a great race. This is a major setback.
So the track being cleaned up here at St. Pete. We are under our second full course yellow. There's still a Penske car at front, but it's not willpower. Elio Castroneves, the three-time winner here on the streets of St. Pete. He wants 4.
A lot of people think sponsorship is just about a logo on the side of a race car. The National Guard isn't the sponsor. Keeping us safe at home while fighting a war abroad. The conflict doesn't end when they take off the uniform. Unemployment is a battle we can fight. They fight for us. It's time we fight for them. Find out how at roadmaptohelp.com.
At Honda, we know you. We know how you like to move at your own pace. And how you don't always see everything coming. Introducing a car that starts with you. The more powerful, more responsive, all-new Accord from Honda.
Honda, proud partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Extreme power, ultimate savings. Get both now at your Polaris dealer during the XP sales event. Rebates up to $1,000 and financing as low as 2.99% on the world's best power sports lineup. Incredible deals on hard-working Rangers, smooth-riding sportsmen, and razor-sharp racers. Hurry to your local Polaris dealer for rebates up to $1,000 and financing as low as 2.99% during the Polaris XP sales event.
This is where we do that bundling thing? Let's see what you got. RV, covered. Why would you pay for a hotel?
I never do.
Motorcycles? Check. ATV.
I ride those.
Do you?
No.
Boat.
House?
Hello, dear. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, check it.
We're going on break. The more you bundle, the more you save. Now that's Progressive.
After winning the St. Pete race, normally I stop and climb the fence in turn 1. Right after the action of Dan Weldon, nobody knew what to expect. And somehow I did not stop in turn 1. But right there, it was Dan Weldon way. And I honestly did not see that. And for me, it was just instinct, going out there just to touch the sign and remember him. You know, every time when you do something that you follow your heart, it's not a mistake. And I'm glad that that day we end up able to celebrate his life.
Elio completed more laps than anybody in the 2012 IZOD IndyCar Series. He has been around for a long time, and that fire is still burning in his belly. He wants to win, and he wants to get a championship that has eluded him his career. Of course, he's a 3-time Indy 500 champion, but he does not want to walk away from the sport before winning a championship. We mentioned it a couple of times, 3 times a winner here. He's going for 4. You see also on that name, and it's a change to the Penske organization this year, 3 cars down to 2. We want to say hi to Ryan Briscoe and congratulate him on his class win in the LMP2 class at the 12 Hours of Sebring last week. Ryan, well done. Hope to see you back in the season soon. Let's have a look at this replay and how Helio Castroneves got into the lead. Wally?
Yeah, watch him on the outside here. He just drives this thing in, gets the car sideways on turn in, but he hung in there. That's impressive, especially when you're doing it with the guy that's driving that 12 car.
You know, I talked to Elio the other day, and I've been drilling him. I said, Elio, you got all the data on Will Power. He's so fast. What's it going to take to put it together? He said, man, I've tried his setup. I've tried his corner entry. I can't do it. How's he going to get him? He's going to get him on a restart just like that. He said, it's better to have your, it's good to have your friends close. It's better to have your enemies closer. And he's got the data now.
What did Will Power learn about that move that Helio Castroneves put on him? Because Power's now on the outside. Tucks in behind his teammate. Green flag waves. Hinchcliffe has a look at the 2 Penske men. What's Simona Di Silvestre got? Down into turn 1.
Oh, she's underneath Sato. Oh, contact there.
Vautier thinks about going around the outside. Andretti goes around the outside of Vautier. Marco's looking for a way by the rookie. Kanaan got up there. Nice work from TK. All right, let's get through here clean. Let's get some momentum going. Dixon and Wilson going at it.
Oftentimes this first restart lap is your only chance to make something happen. Watch the marbles offline. As the race progresses, it's going to be harder and harder to make a pass without making a mistake.
Through that tough sequence of turns, now they open the throttles up. Through turn 9, heading up towards the challenging turn 10. Kimball's got Servia, he's got Rahal in there. It's a mad scramble. Sato has been consistent, so too has Simona Di Silvestro. Up into the final 2, 13 and 14. We've lost one of the Penske cars back, and that's Will Power. Hinchcliffe is up into second.
Well, Simona's in a good position right there on Sato. Might be able to try to outbrake him going into turn 1 here. Not quite close enough.
These onboard shots really show you graphically how bumpy this track is.
Let's just ride with Simona here. Unbelievable how talented she is.
And you can see how demanding this racetrack is, Townsend. I mean, there's just no place to rest except for going down the straightaway. The straightaway is awfully bumpy.
I asked Simona on Friday, I said, what part of your body is going to give up first? Where are you going to get tired? She said, nowhere. And TK was standing right there. He said, come on. He said, my shoulders give out first. And then she sort of nodded shyly. No, actually, my shoulders are going to get burned up pretty quick. Got a decent run on Sato here.
Stays close. Push the pass. She can do it.
Takuma knows it too, and he's making life difficult down into 1. Simona Di Silvestre will get Sato.
Nice pass. Very nicely done.
Set that up. Townsend called it coming out of turn 14. Beautifully orchestrated.
That's about as close as Takuma Sato's going to get without getting a blocking penalty. He gave a little bit of a dodge there. That's a sign of many years of F1 and IndyCar experience. Right on the limit.
Simona is in the very position she finished a couple of years ago. 4th, her best result here on the streets of St. Petersburg. To Brian Till.
Well, Townsend, he did everything he could, butt block, you called it. It was very close, but the other thing that's on his mind is his front wing right now. He feels like there's a little damage to it, although the crew says it looks okay, so that 14 may not be quite as strong with the front end grip aerodynamically as it was at the start of this event.
Castro Neves, Hinchcliffe, Power, Di Silvestro, Takuma Sato under pressure from the rookie Vautier. Then the veteran Canaan, Marco Andretti, Justin Wilson has just been fighting and fighting. He's up to 9th ahead of Ryan Hunter-Reay. But how about this man? Did very well last year, just worked away at it methodically on the streets of St. Pete. And now he's vying for a podium finish. Let's show you how he got by. Whoa! That was Will Power into his teammate, and Hinchcliffe said, I'll make the most of that.
Hinchcliffe has been smiling ear to ear all preseason in testing. He's got his old race engineer from Newman Haas, Craig Hampson, back. It's like hand in glove. They have hit the ground running this season.
Hinch said, I don't know what it is with me, but every year I get a different engineer. I'm not quite sure if I smell or something, but they keep moving on. He said, but I'm delighted to have such a renowned engineer like Craig Hampson on board.
So much is made of that chemistry between driver and race engineer, and I got to tell you from experience, it's critically important. Primarily what it does is two things. It gives the driver confidence and trust in the changes that the engineer is making, and it also speeds the communication on practice and qualifying in terms of the changes they make to the car.
Top 5 have a little bit more breathing room as Canaan makes a move on Sato, turn 1. Has he got him? Not quite close enough, Wally.
Ooh, Hunter-Reay was taking a look underneath Wilson, too. That was awfully close.
So top 5 more spread out, and then 6 back. It is busy. These guys are hustling.
I'm actually a little bit surprised Hunter-Reay hasn't made some more ground up. He's on the reds, and all of these cars in front of him are on the harder compound, the blacks. And I think that's a little bit why Will Power probably is struggling. This car's not working, obviously, on the blacks as good as it was on the reds.
Top 4 cars are all Chevrolet powered. The best Honda is the rookie, Tristan Vautier. Dixon's working on the champ. Behind him, Joseph Newgarden. Tagliani's made good forward movement. Tag is in 13 ahead of Saavedra and Vizo. That's in the top 15. Time for a quick break. Back to St. Pete right after this.
The command has been given. Row 1, let me know. Row 1 on. Row 2 on. 3 hot. 5 hot. These cars rolling.
Live in-car cameras. 4-in-1 Mosaic. Having your heart race as fast as theirs.
Hey, good screen.
That's powerful.
Come to the green flag.
Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, a landslide will bring it down.
The ISOT IndyCar Series heads to Alabama, where Will Power is determined to take home a win for the 3rd consecutive year.
Will Power has won again.
The Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama in 2 weeks on the NBC Sports Network.
Pennsylvania pride is on the line when Claude Giroux and the Flyers head to the Steel City for a clash with Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. Flyers, Penguins. Coverage begins tonight at 7 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network.
Welcome back to the NBC Sports Network's live coverage of the season opener, the Honda Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. And this is a little further down the order. This is 19th place Ed Carpenter fighting with the others. And this is the Midas machine from Team Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan of Graham Rahal, and he is not in a very happy position at the moment. This was just a few minutes ago. Take a listen to this.
This is ridiculous.
Just got to make the best of this.
Just shut off again.
Long way to go yet, Graham. Not even a third of the way through this thing. See, we have an electrical glitch, but just try to make the best of it here.
Problem is, that's something that doesn't get better. That's not going to fix itself.
They cannot fix that from the wall for sure. Nothing is more frustrating than that. And you know what? It's always irritating as a driver when the guy on the wall says, just hang in there.
Yeah, make the best of it.
You want to say, I'm going to hang you by the back of your shirt, dude.
Race leader is Elio Castro-Neves. He has less than a second over James Hinchcliffe, then back to Will Power. Remember, right now they would be saying, oh, you'd be getting close to halfway, but we've got those extra 10 laps. It's time for Honda to take us through the field. Jan?
And, of course, we will start with Elio Castro-Neves. You saw those aggressive moves between he and his teammate. So far, the team says, yeah, we're okay with some hard racing. Hinchcliffe right behind him in his first stint today. He was on the radio complaining, I have a huge vibration. I can't hang on. They said, hey, just wait for the first pit stop. He's got new tires. He's good now. Right behind, of course, is Will Power. Now, there was an aggressive move that between teammates that let Hinchcliffe take that spot. But I believe that he right now isn't as fast as he might be because he's on blacks. Kevin?
Simone Di Silvestro started third, lost a couple of spots at the beginning, but has been quick since then and just got by Takuma Sato not too long ago to get back up to fourth position. They're telling her to save a little bit of fuel, and she also had a vibration early on in this stint, but it obviously hasn't been a problem. Brian?
Justin Vautier doing exactly what he should as a rookie. Strong and steady. Very good on his first pit stop. Granted, it was under full course caution, but he got that job done. He's doing a good job on the racetrack. For Takuma Sato, who started on the front row, he's falling backwards a little bit. Not happy with the balance of that car. Feels like there could be some damage to the front wing, but the crew begging him, just stay with it, Takuma. Stay steady. If we've got a sixth-place car, we'll finish sixth. Kevin?
Tony Kanaan picked up 4 spots in the first 4 laps to get up to 7th, and that's where he's running right now. He is enjoying the new teammate, Simone Di Silvestro, and his engineer, Eric Cowden, says it's always good to have competition, and Simone is fast right now. Right behind him is his former teammate, Marco Andretti. Had his best starting position on a road or a street course in 2 years, since St. Pete here a couple of years ago. He was told a little while ago, you're faster than everybody but Will Power. That's while Power was still leading the race. Brian?
Justin Wilson having a good day for Dale Coyne. Moving forward, they did some shock changes in the morning warm-up. That seemed to work, and they have talked to him about conserving the tires underneath him, burning off rear tires a little bit, but Wilson having a strong and steady race up in the top 10. Jan?
Ryan Hunter-Reay did not really get the kind of qualifying performance that he had hoped, but now you can see he's pretty racy. He's starting to put some pressure there on Justin Wilson. They made a lot of changes on this car. Remember, this is the type of track you cannot test. They're not sure what they want to use. Scott Dixon right behind. It's amazing that he's running as quickly as he is, because they had said we were way outside the window with the front of the car, and his situation was similar to Franchitti. They feel, well, we've made it better, but still too much push.
Joseph Newgarden having a good run. And remember, they did not get their engine until about 2 weeks before the race last year. All season long, all off season long, that team stayed together, and they felt like they came in here very strong, and they're running strong and steady right now. Newgarden, a run or a finish in the top 10 would be almost like a victory for them. They could move forward. For Sebastian Saavedra, struggling with tire pressures, over-pressured on that first set. That's why the handling went away. They dropped the pressures on the second set, and what you found was that it was very difficult to get the handling on it after that last pit stop. EJ Viso back in 15th, having a good run towards the front, but they too struggling with tire pressures just a little bit. He's trying to work his way forward, didn't have the car that he wanted to qualify with once the crash happened in the practice session. And then Tagliani back a little bit further, having a decent run, but he too struggling with tires. Remember, these Firestones, especially the construction for street courses, an unknown, and right now the team's pretty much an experimentation. Sebastian Bourdais has been on the radio all day long, not at all happy with the handling of his Dragon entry. He had to go to the setup that Sebastian Saavedra was running, just way too stiff for his liking. It has not performed to his liking, and he said, quite honestly, at the beginning of this race, I'm hoping it rains.
Charlie Kimball is running in the 17th position. He was one of those that was involved in that contact about 15 laps ago and had to make an unscheduled pit stop. Mitch Davis, though, said all is okay with the car. There is some noticeable damage on the right rear wheel cover, the bumper, if you will, but no problem now other than they lost all that track position. Right behind him is Oriol Servia. He is just happy to have power. After starting the season last year with Lotus, they then played catch-up the rest of the year. Their testing really wasn't worth a whole lot, and they did have some good runs, including 4th at Indianapolis. Although it's not gone as well as they would like this weekend, he still says at least we've got the opportunity to run quick.
Ed Carpenter running 19th right now. He's improved so much over the past season working with Lee Bentham as a driver coach, and he has really picked up the pace, closed that delta to the cars in front. James Jake in 20th. Trying to make a move on Carpenter right now. Jake's working his way back up to the front. Struggled with the qualifying setup a little bit. Wasn't quite where he wanted to be. Has dropped back, but he is moving his way forward, as you can see right there.
What was that flew off the back? Was that a banner? Or was that
like a piece of bodywork from earlier contact that's still sitting there? Maybe a wing main plane. There's some damage to Sebastian Bourdais' right front wing. Perhaps that's what we saw.
Yeah. As those cars were exiting that last corner, we were sitting there watching a piece of race car fly.
He's missing the end fence. We got a caution out. I wonder if that's for debris on the track. He's missing the end fence. He's missing that upper element. That's a lot of downforce off the front of the car.
Third full course caution of the day. Pits are open. Here we go. Race leader Elio Castroneves, James Hinchcliffe, Will Power, Simona Di Silvestro, all in. Not quite halfway through.
Will Power getting his service, and they're staying with blacks. Elio's gone, and he is going to keep that spot. And Ryan Hunter-Reay, oh, they get the tire out just in time as we see the left. Ryan Hunter-Reay also going with the blacks. You can hear that strange sound when they're on pit road. When he's on that pit speed limiter, it really makes an odd sound before he lights it up.
I think it sounds like a Cessna.
In trouble.
Joseph Newgarden certainly leapfrogged a couple of positions because the 67 is ahead of Ryan Hunter-Reay, and there is Graham Rahal. Will his problems get any easier or better? We'll find out. It's been a frustrating day for him. Castroneves got out well.
Is that Servia?
Servia did not pit.
He did not pit because he's off sequence.
He was when the stack up happened. His last pit was on lap 27.
There's that debris, guys, and it is. It's that chrome color from Sebastian Bourdais' car. Take a look at a replay of what happened, and you heard Jan Beekers call it about Ryan Hunter-Reay coming in and a tire in the way. Watch this.
Oh, nice try, Townsend.
Were you trying to get the tire in the circle?
Yeah, he did. Nice try.
Almost there.
Didn't know if the fans at home knew what a tire looked like.
You just like
and they still don't if they don't.
There have been good crowds here each and every day. It's one of the real signature points of this event. It's just a great atmosphere at a fabulous place for a motor race. We'll be back. If you were with us right at the top of today's broadcast, you will remember we flagged that there was really unsavory weather heading our way. We have been so fortunate. We're almost at the halfway mark, and look at that. They're live pictures above the racetrack, the Albert Whitted Airport here at St. Petersburg, Florida. So far, so good. We will cross our fingers. As in any racing series, tyres are always a talking point. Firestone has been an integral part of the IZOD IndyCar Championship for years now. There's also been a very special man who's been an integral part of that company and this series for decades. He's with Robin.
41 years at Firestone. You were there at the start, especially when it was really not very good at the start, and then you guys took over and ran Goodyear out of town.
You know, to think that we could have almost won our first Indy 500 when we came back, and then come back and win 2 races our very first year, how exciting could that be? I mean, our engineers were pumped. It was great.
We're going to show some B-roll. This is the beginning here.
Oh my God!
Look, Joe, your hair was still not gray yet.
Yeah, it was dark. Look at that. Look at those kids.
Castroneves, those guys, they were roommates.
Oh my beautiful wife, Renee. Yes.
All right, there's Al Spire.
Yeah.
There's Ryan Hunter-Reay in the championship.
Just last year.
What do you think, when you look back at it, because I remember the first year at Detroit, the rain tire was terrible, and everybody's like, Firestone. And then the next year, it was the only tire to have.
That's it. The engineers went back, and they worked on it, and the rest is history. I mean, we took over, and it was really, really rewarding for the engineers, all the hard work they put into it.
The first time Michael Andretti and Paul Tracy drove Firestones in testing, they got out and they went, no wonder we can't win.
Yeah, it affected some teams really bad in 95, 96. They waited too long to get onto the tires, and it cost them dearly.
Now, what are you going to do? Play golf? Your hair is gray. What's the next? Are you going to come to Indy and see us?
Well, it's definitely golf and some fishing. I got 4 beautiful grandkids I'm going to help take care of and do some volunteer work. But more importantly, I'm going to try to stay with the IndyCar series somehow. And yeah, Indy could be my first return just to come in and see everybody.
Don't be trying to take my job. He's got an easier job than me, Lee.
Well, Robin, as you well know, we're a traveling family, and Joe's been a really important part of that for a long time. Not sure if you can ever put rock star and tyres together in the same sentence, but Joe Barbieri is a rock star. He's one of those lively characters in the paddock.
Really, I mean, he's been around as long as I can remember. I mean, when my dad was driving Indy cars. But the nice thing about Joe, he always got a smile on his face. He's the happiest guy you'll ever see down in the paddock.
Hey, Kevin, tell us more about Oriol Servia.
Well, Dennis Reinbold told him, we decided to keep you out, one, because you're running a good pace right now, so it's a clear track. We can maybe keep you up front for a little while. And he said, really, we just have to try to gamble with something right now. He did pit a second time earlier after they had to change the front nose, so he's on a different cycle than everybody else to begin with. Lap 27 was his last pit stop, so with the yellows, I don't know, maybe 60 to 66, something like that. But Servia does still need 2 more stops. Most of the others should be able to get home on 1 more.
Yeah, he's been out there for 18 laps longer than the next guy in line, which is, of course, Helio Castroneves. I want to tell you about an exciting competition that's going at the moment. It's called Indy 500 or Bust, and you can log on to indy500orbust.com for more details. It's about getting VIP treatment at the 2014 Indianapolis 500, and people will do anything to get free tickets to the big race. So let's get ready to go racing. We've had plenty of storylines already today, and there's still so many more to come. We would be approaching the halfway mark at this time last year, Jan, but we've got an extra 10 laps to run in 2013.
We do, but the one thing you never count on is when will the yellows come. So when these, other than Oriol Servia that you see in the lead there, you know the rest of the group, most of which pitted on lap 45. That makes the next window, so they can do it in 1 more stop, like you heard Kevin say. Servia cannot, but it makes that window very narrow. But as long as those sweepers are on the racetrack picking up those marbles, every one of these laps of yellow will extend that window. A moment ago, it was 77 or 78 is your only choice, but every one of these yellow laps will make that window for their next stop and final stop a little wider.
All to keep an eye on as we approach the second half of the season opener. Oriol Servia, one of the veterans in this field, but still got plenty of spark and a heap of talent.
At Honda, we know some people are never happy with the way things are and are always dreaming of how they could be. Because things can always be better. We like those people. They think like us. Introducing the best Civic sedan yet. Made possible by Honda.
Honda, proud partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
In California, cars are a way of life. That's why we choose Mother's California Gold products, like the classic premium-grade Brazilian Carnauba Cleaner Wax, the time-saving, technologically advanced synthetic wax, our original and incredibly effective clay bar paint-saving system, and a water spot remover that's clearly second to none. They're easy to use and a great value. Mother's, pure California Gold.
We gonna
protection people love. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
The first laps since Oriole Servia that he has led since the 2011 Indianapolis 500. We'll keep an eye on Oriole. If you're just turning on, welcome. Here is what has happened thus far. At the start, look to the inside. Elio Castroneves in the 3 Penske machine makes a move on Simona Di Silvestro, but you're going to get a very interesting point of view here from our champion Ryan Hunter-Reay. Hinchcliffe ahead. Look to the right, though. Here comes Marco Andretti. Boom. And then Fautier was on the outside. The champ was sandwiched. He managed to fight on. Lap 19, Dario Franchitti out of the pits and into the wall. It was game over for the 4-time series champion. Then, bunching up at the restart. They say yellows breed yellows, and that's exactly what happened. J.R. Hildebrand got into the back of James Jakes, and then Sebastian Saavedra thought he'd take advantage of this wounded race car. They came together. There was no call from race control. Keep on going. At the restart, watch this. Wally said this was one of the moves of the race. Right around the outside, Elio Castroneves on the outside of Will Power for the lead of the race, and we've got dramas for Joseph Newgarden.
Looking at Joseph here, I really can't tell if there's any damage to his car, Wally. Not sure what might have happened here.
Go. Are you still running?
He's got it fired up. He's not getting it in gear.
Okay, he's saying he's got a clutch issue.
Yeah.
Now that's an electronic clutch. It's basically an electronic switch to the gearbox. So perhaps some kind of electrical issue that's interfering with the communication. What they might tell him to do is to get on some recovery switches. There are some emergency recovery switches that kind of defeat the default programming in the car. It's kind of like a complete system reset, reboot, if you will.
Yeah.
The clutch.
There he is there, the man who started on the front row, Takuma Sato for the ABC Supplies AJ Foyt Enterprises car. Brian, tell us more about him.
Well, during that last round of pit stops, Lee, they came in and they did adjust the front wing 2 turns to add some more grip to the front because he had been complaining of that understeer. The question still remains, is there damage to the front wing? A couple of the crew members looked at it, said it looked fine. Another one said, no, the end plate that holds up that second element has damage to it on the inside portion of it. So they feel like perhaps it may be collapsing a little bit at speed. That's why he's losing that downforce. But they added a couple of turns of wing to see if they could help that out just a little bit. Meanwhile, we'll try to find out.
Mate, yeah, it's been a little bit of a slide, a backward slide for Takuma Sato, who started second at the moment. He is in 12th place for the former F1 competitor. James Jakes is another one like Oriole Servia, Townsend, who is out of sequence. Servia last pitted on lap 27. The majority of the front runners 45. James Jakes came in just 4 laps later on 31. So the second Rahal Lanigan driver is in 6th position. But he's going to need a little luck to stay up in that top 10.
He will. He's going to have to pit here in about another, I'd guess, 10, 15 laps. But I got to tell you, James Jakes is one of those guys, kind of flew under the radar last year as the second car at Dale Coyne Racing. He did a very nice job towards the second half of the season. I was impressed with his pace relative to his teammate Justin Wilson, a known, proven quantity in this series. And I really feel like he's got a solid platform at Rahal. They've taken good care of him.
He lives here in Florida. He's pumped up about this season, very focused, really wants this year to be the year he makes his mark in the IZOD IndyCar Series. We'll do what we always do and go to break during caution so we can show you more green flag racing. Back in a moment.
Row 1 hot. Row 2 hot. 3 hot. 5 hot. Cars rolling.
Live in-car cameras. 4-in-1 Mosaic. Having your heart race as fast as theirs.
Here we go. Hey, good for green.
That's powerful.
Here they come to the green flag.
Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side rebuild. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
A lot of people think sponsorship is just about a logo on the side of a race car. The National Guard isn't a sponsor. Keeping us safe at home while fighting a war abroad. The conflict doesn't end when they take off the uniform. Unemployment is a battle we can fight. They fight for us. It's time we fight for them. Find out how at roadmaptohelp.com.
Think fast.
It all comes down to this. The MAP TV 500 IndyCar World Championships at Auto Club Speedway, October 18th and 19th. Get your tickets to see the world's fastest drivers at IndyCar's fastest track battle under the lights to be crowned world champion. Go to AutoClubSpeedway.com or call 800-944-RACE. Racing tickets start at just $30 plus special discounts for AAA members. The MAP TV 500 IndyCar World Championships at Auto Club Speedway. Get your tickets before they're gone.
Think fast.
Back on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, and that yellow DHL Andretti Autosport Chevrolet is Ryan Hunter-Reay. We're monitoring our champion. He's currently down in 13th place. He's got Takuma Sato right ahead and teammate EJ Viso right behind. What an off-season it was for him, not only competing in some other events, he had the most important thing of all. His first child was born, he and Becky.
Good job, buddy. Ryan Hunter-Reay is the champion.
2012 was a very special one for so many reasons. It was the year of firsts for winning it first time at different tracks that I hadn't won our first championship. And then off the track, the birth of our baby boy. It'll be hard to match 2012, even with the more successful season. It was a lot of fun.
And he's back home here in Florida. You know, the last time a driver used the #1 in the IndyCar Series, Scott Dixon, way back in 2004. And he said, if I've earned the #1, I'm gonna display the #1.
Why not? He earned it. Here we go.
Let's go racing at St. Petersburg. Oriol Servia is surrounded by the Penske boys. Hinchcliffe's in the middle of it as well. J.R. Hildebrand in the mix too.
Hinchcliffe picks up a spot on Hildebrand. Even 2 spots, maybe.
Try and push through. Remember, Hildebrand is back down the order. They stretch their legs now. Oriol Servia in the Mecum Auctions car will just be loving seeing a clear track ahead. On the inside goes Willpower. Vautier's in the mix. Di Silvestro, Tony Kanaan, James Jakes. Wheel-to-wheel action here at St. Pete. This is great. Marco Andretti, I like the way that he has been running today. The blue and yellow machine, the RC car. It's an inspired drive. Perhaps that time spent in England with Rob Wilson, the driver coach, is paying off.
Lee, this is such a tightrope walk for these guys. Saw a piece of bodywork flying out there. Making the decision. This is my only chance to really make passes, make positions here, but I gotta think championship. I gotta finish the race. Hardest part about this deal. First lap on a restart.
First flying lap. Let's get some green together here. We're exactly halfway. Watch here, Ryan Hunter-Reay on Takuma Sato. Sato made it a little difficult for Ryan, but he's going to get him down into 1.
Now what Ryan Hunter-Reay did is he squared off the exit of that last corner to try to get a straighter shot, accelerating onto that straightaway. Sato did the exact same thing. He pushed the limit of that blocking roll as much as you can.
Yeah, you're right. He is pushing the limit of that rule.
I think he's good, though. I like the way he's driving.
EJ Viso thought about making a move on Takuma Sato.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is playing catch-up after having problems on pit lane. He couldn't get it back into gear and lost lots of track position. The team says we've made the car better, not perfect, but we're making up from a big loss on pit road. When you lose track position here, man, it's tough to get it back.
It's like a lot of debris sitting over there.
Up into turn 10. Watch this next section of the track. This is exhilarating. This is fast stuff. On a 1.8-mile track, they reach speeds of 165 miles an hour.
Now watch Hunter-Reay, Lee. He's going to square off that exit. You see that late apex there. Not as good a run as he had on Sato. He's on push to pass. He only has 2 left.
Justin Wilson up ahead. Watch this, watch this.
I'm really surprised these guys are using them up that early, Counselor.
Whoa, Justin, hang on to it.
Well, the thing about push to pass, Wally, is when you push it, it sort of obligates you to go for it. Like, you don't want to waste the fact that you push the button.
We're just at halfway in the race. Just halfway in the race. Watch those overtakes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're not going to have any left when it comes down to the time where if you need them on the last 2 or 3 laps.
But how many restarts is he going to get?
Yeah, but if you're running for position, if you're going for the lead, you don't have a push to pass if you're coming down for the checkered.
To make positions, though, man, it is so hard once things get strung out to stay close in that last corner. He's being aggressive.
Order is Servia, but he's out of that pit sequence, remember. Castro Neves, Hinchcliffe, Power. Vautier, the rookie, is in the top 5. This kid has been outstanding this weekend. He is already making his mark in the IZOD IndyCar Series. Turn 13, turn 14. And Ryan Hunter-Reay not quite as close to Justin Wilson as he was a lap ago. Trying to edge up on the top 10. Speaking of the top 10, that's where Target Chip Ganassi driver Scott Dixon is. And considering where he started and the weekend he's had, that is a mighty run.
Absolutely. He led more laps than anybody else, I believe, here last year. He knows this track extremely well. And he's pushing like crazy to stay with these guys. Doing a good job.
2 red cars together there. Dixon is the first of them. Then the 19 there, that's Justin Wilson, former F1 driver, back to the champ, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Behind him, we pick up Takuma Sato. Just continues to fade back through the field. It'll be frustrating for the Japanese driver.
Now this is a space I'm going to watch very closely. EJ Vizo and Takuma Sato. You see Scott Dixon putting the nose up under Marco Andretti, backs off.
Another one of the big stories of the off-season. Andretti Autosport expanding it once again to 4 cars. There is son of the owner, Marco, son of Michael.
Watch Justin Wilson here.
Or Dixon.
Oh, wow. He
made
Justin
Justin
that thing in there. Now if he can stay there, he's got the spot.
Go the long way around. Is there contact? Is he going to get it?
Oh.
Great driving from Dixon and Wilson. Very respectful. Good hard stuff. Wilson's now trying to make life hard for Ryan Hunter-Reay down into turn 4.
Justin Wilson getting very proactive, to borrow Bo Barfield's words there. Driving up the inside, taking the passing lane away from Hunter-Reay.
Bo Barfield is the race director. He said an interesting quote to us yesterday. He said, hey, we're talking about starts at turn 1. He said, my job is to get them to the green flag. Once the green flag flies, then it's their job to use their brains, drive sensibly and respectively.
And I like that approach, Lee. Let these guys have at it. They're professionals. They'll sort themselves out.
Exactly. Servia still heads this pack. Castro Neves, Hinchcliffe, Power, Vautier, Simona Di Silvestro, Kanaan, Jakes, Andretti, and Dixon in the 10. And there are the 4 Andretti Autosport cars I was alluding to earlier. Hinchcliffe is the best of them, and the green machine, the GoDaddy car, has been up the front all the while, Wally.
You know, I talked about how competitive this thing is. You know, Servia was kind of stuck in the middle to the back of this pack, but got track position, and he stayed up front. I mean, he's running really good now. Talked to him yesterday. Really happy with the situation he's in right now with this team, and I think these guys are going to run awfully good. But you know, if he gets a yellow at the right time, this is not going to hurt him at all.
Game on. It's game on for him, isn't it?
If it stays green, Servia is going to have to pit, I'm guessing, in about another 4 or 5 laps.
But he's keeping up the pace. These guys have fresher tires on behind him.
Firestone biggest movers. Of course, Oriol Servia is right out in front, and then James Jakes and Dixon. And there is one certain skill and attribute that Oriol Servia possesses, and that is the ability to pass cars. He is one of the best of doing that in this field.
Something to be proud of, Lee, but I can tell you, I spent a lot of time with Servia, lives near me back in Los Angeles. What he wants to be best at is winning races. He hasn't done a lot of that the last few years, and this could be a chance today.
Hearing reports there may have been contact between Scott Dixon, Marco Andretti in turn 10. Both cars still running strong. This will show us, Wally.
He was up there quite a ways. I don't think they made contact. I think he just hit the curb. Hit it pretty hard.
One of those awkward situations where Marco in the RC Cola car is looking in his mirror saying, I'm going to leave him room. No, I'm not. No, I'm going to leave him. Scott's seen that happen. Not sure what Marco's doing. Lucky to get through there both unscathed. Here they come again.
Yeah, Marco's under big pressure.
Look. Yeah.
Talk about how hard it is to drive focusing forward and in your mirrors. You've got to do both at once.
You do, but mostly you're focusing forward. It's all about making positions, moving ahead. Now here, Justin's got a little bit better run. Here comes Hunter-Reay squaring off that last corner again. Let's see if he gets on the button. No.
Well, he's about out.
He's got 2 left.
You only get 10 push-to-pass opportunities at this round of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Lee Justin being smart there, taking the proactive approach, moving over a car width, driving up the inside line.
No change at the front. You're not missing anything. Serbia, Castro Neves, Hinchcliffe, 1, 2, and 3. Here goes Hunter Ray. Has another look. Just trying to distract Justin Wilson a little down into 4.
Hunter Ray in that bright yellow DHL car saying, let me say, have your mirrors filled with yellow. One of the advantages, by the way, of having a bright color I've found through the years.
Fighting, grinding away. Qualifying didn't quite go to plan for the 2012 champ. So now he's having to fight hard. He's down to 12th. Word around is that we're expecting Oriol Servia in shortly. We'll see if that does happen. Oh, Hunter Ray wide. Kevin?
Servia's got a set of sticker reds to go in this stint. He will come down at 50 miles an hour. This is not his last stop, though. He's going to have to do one more, and the rest of the field at one more, so he's still going to need some luck. He's going to need the yellow to fall his way. It's a pretty routine stop. A little slow getting away. It's almost stalled, still barely running.
He can't get in gear either.
He's trying to grab it, and is it a gear issue?
Might be a clutch deal like Newgarden.
Well, don't forget, when the fueler pulls out, you can put the car in gear. The car will not go in gear based on a sensor at the fuel inlet, the Buckeye. So he could have jumped the gun there and gotten in the middle of that transition with some sort of gearbox issue. Terrible for Oriol. Heartbreak.
It was an encouraging run. Although he was on different pit sequence, you can see Joseph Newgarden in the background there. He's eventually made it back to pit lane. Here come the front runners. So it's Helio Castroneves, where he likes to be at St. Petersburg, out in front of James Hinchcliffe and Will Power. Power, who was the story all weekend with his brutal speed, is now taking a back seat to Hinchcliffe and to Castroneves. Helio just seems to find another gear around this 1.8 mile track.
He certainly does. He's having a great run. I think if I'm Will Power, if I'm Hinchcliffe, I'm saying, listen, I'm just going to conserve, try to save a little bit of fuel, see if I can stretch my window here, get him on the pit stop, get him on an outlap if it stays green.
You're seeing the reason why that man there in car number 9, Scott Dixon, is a two-time winner of this season, of this series. He is not giving up. The car was not compliant. It has been a miserable weekend, but yet he is in the top 10. He's in 9th at the moment. Points, that's what it's all about. There's another 18 races after this one.
And Marco is certainly not making it easy for him.
Now, looks like they might be putting a new steering wheel on Serbia's car.
Hunter Ray.
Champion. What has happened to Ryan Hunter Ray? That's out of turn 10, up through 11 and 12.
And it turns out there's a throttle issue. He just was on the radio saying the throttle is sticking. So remember, this is a fly-by-wire arrangement. There's not a throttle cable, so to speak. But that is the problem for Ryan Hunter Ray.
That's tough.
Oh. Yeah, look, and he just... It looked like it just quit running.
Was that Graham that got fired?
Graham.
Graham Rahal.
Graham had nowhere to go.
That gave Saavedra a spot.
And by the way, they finally thought they had figured out that electrical problem with Graham, and he was finally back up the pace and had picked up a few spots, but now he's going to have to come in and get a new front nose again.
And the throttle is stuck open. He had to actually, as soon as he took it out of gear, you can hear it race. So definitely a throttle issue for Ryan Hunter Ray. That's a scary moment.
Scary for the guys on the rear tires, sticking your hand in there with the thing in gear. Some of the bravest guys in sports, the guys that go over the wall.
6 men allowed over the wall to work on the car in the IZOD IndyCar Series. So there you go. He's gone a lap down, and bigger problems than that on pit road for the 2012 champion. Title defense not going to plan thus far.
But I'll tell you, Lee, if there's one thing that Ryan proved last year, it's in the face of adversity. He doesn't lose his cool. Don't count this guy out at any event. He's going to come fighting back.
A lot of electrical problems today with different guys. You know, Graham.
Servia, he has been unable to grab a gear. He says he can feel it engage, but it just won't stick into gear. So they're looking at the electronics now. And
it's not rolling the engine, it's just rolling.
There you go. You can hear from Oriol.
Servia and Hunter Ray both sitting idle. Cars being serviced. Frustrating times for two extremely talented drivers. Meanwhile, Castro Neves is enjoying a 1.5 second lead out in front of James Hinchcliffe. For Andretti Autosport, the GoDaddy car running strong as it has been all day. Then Power. These three are off by themselves. Gap back to Tristan Vautier. The rookie is up to 4th. That's as high as he has run in this race.
Vautier's doing an unbelievable job. First ever IndyCar race. Very little testing in the offseason. So hard for these rookies to come in here. They just don't get a chance to test. I'm really impressed.
Well, we were watching practice the first day, and he was up on top of the charts, or he was in the top 5. It was like, wow, I mean, talk about somebody just taking to it.
Hey guys, here's 2011 all over again, but it's in reverse. It's Tony Kanaan and Simona Di Silvestro chasing each other through the streets of St. Petersburg, but TK had the upper hand a couple of years ago. Simona is ahead of her new teammate for the time being. Jan?
They're trying to get Ryan Hunter-Reay restarted. They just hit the starter, but it was in gear. I could tell by the body English of the team. They kept looking and looking. All of a sudden, they were flailing around the front of the car, thinking they may have found what the issue was with the throttle. But now, they can't get it fired up.
I noticed that, Jan, when they had the nose off, it was almost like they were checking around the pedal assembly to see if something was hanging up there.
Well, there's your answer, because that fired up, and he has throttle control.
Hunter-Reay back out there, but down 2 laps at least, maybe 3, close to 3 laps down for the 2012 champion. Meanwhile, this fight goes on within the top 10, within the top 5. Vautier on the inside of Hunter-Reay. Good work from Ryan to see him coming.
Difficult situation. You got Hunter-Reay coming out of the pits, trying to figure out, is the throttle going to stick wide open or not? You got the top 5 guys coming right through.
Good awareness. Very good awareness to see that.
Boy, still seems like he's really babying that thing.
Well, wouldn't
Making
you? I mean,
sure, yeah.
There's nothing scarier than a stuck throttle or a brake failure or suspension failure, but stuck throttle, you know, on a street circuit.
And it's concrete wall. On board with Simona Di Silvestro. Let's have a listen.
There, we're right there.
That Southern twang is engineer Gerald Tyler, my engineer in Indy Lights when I won the championship, and at Indy. He's a great guy, super talented, and these two have a great chemistry.
He also engineered Al Brian Till, who happens to be standing by with Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, Joseph Newgarden didn't want to be talking to us in the middle of the race. He wanted to talk to us after the race with Champagne. Obviously, something in the gearbox put you out. Were you guys able to put your finger on exactly what it was just yet?
I don't exactly know. You know, I think they're taking it back now to try and get a better look. Tried to figure it out here in pit lane, but just couldn't get it working. So it's a shame for us. We really just wanted to have a good finish, try and have a decent result coming out of the first round like everyone does. But looks like we're not the only guys having a little bit of bad luck. But it's just a shame for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing. I mean, you know, we got to try and get some momentum going this year, and I think we will. I'm really excited for the guys. You know, it's been tough trying to figure out a couple of the new things that have been introduced this year, the new tires. It's great to have Firestones. I think they're making great racing, but it's definitely tricky to figure it out. So hopefully it's the only issues we're going to have for the season.
Yeah, what are these guys dealing with out there as far as the reds versus the black as Tristan Vautier comes to the pit road?
Well, it's very, very difficult between the two. They're degrading a little bit faster on the tires, and the balance is shifting very aggressively, not on both compounds, I should say. So when you're on blacks, you're losing a lot of rear grip really pretty soon, and same thing with the rears. And you're also fighting understeer at the same time, so you're trying to make the front tires work, but you're having the rears go off with it, and very, very difficult balancing act for everyone out there right now.
And a difficult pit stop for Tristan Vautier right now. It's taken way too long to work on this stop. The crew going to work right now. This is not what they wanted to see. It looks like they may be looking underneath. Yeah, and they are. The engine cover coming off after such an impressive run. Things going wrong for Tristan Vautier.
And for Schmidt-Peterson, Schmidt-Hamilton Racing, both cars having adversity today, but he was up to 4th, as we mentioned not long ago. There is still Graham Rahal's wing, part of his wing still sitting out there on the track. That's been there for numerous laps. Meanwhile, Marco Andretti has resisted the pressure from Scott Dixon and has done a nice job to hold him off. Marco is up to 6th, Dixon running 7th. And as Vautier went to pit lane, we were all looking at each other straight away saying 41 laps to go. He can't go that long on one more tank of fuel, and now we know what the story is. What a shame. It has, however, promoted Simona Di Silvestro to 4th and Tony Kanaan to 5th. These guys need to stop one more time Can anybody do anything about Helio Castroneves? He's already created history. He's the only multi-time winner here. Is the captain going to get another win?
Legendary durability, impressive mileage, Firestone tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Over the years, car enthusiasts have relied on premium-grade Brazilian Carnauba to keep their cars finished looking showroom new. Today, Mother's California Gold Brazilian Carnauba Cleaner Wax embraces and improves upon this tradition with an easy-to-use one-step process. That's why generations have come to trust Mother's signature gloss, unparalleled shine, and durable, long-lasting protection. Mother's Brazilian Carnauba Cleaner Wax. Pure California Gold.
Hunt, farm, or trail, Polaris has what you want. Legendary ATVs, led by the powerful Sportsman 850 HO. Value-minded side-by-sides, featuring the new Ranger 800 midsize and full-size workhorses, including the all-new class-leading 60-horsepower Ranger XP 900. Polaris, hardest working, smoothest riding. Huge rebates and low financing are available right now during the Polaris XP sales event.
While Helio Castroneves leads, the day is over for Tristan Vautier as he has climbed out of his number 55. Checked with the team, it seems to be some type of a header issue. Whatever it is, it cannot be fixed here in pit lane, and his day is done. But right now, he is walking around shaking the hands of every crew member that gave him a car to run with and a car to impress with here in his debut in the IZOD IndyCar Series.
As you can see on he and the car, there's sponsorship from Florida Lottery. It has not been a lottery picking this rookie at all. He is outstanding, and I think we're going to be saying his name a whole lot more this year. Justin Wilson now starts to put the pressure on Scott Dixon. 37 laps to go, another pit stop before we determine the winner of the opening round of the 2013 IZOD IndyCar Series, the Honda Grand Prix of St. Pete. We will see. It's got a very familiar feel to it. Penske's 1 and 3.
Wally, a lot's been made in the offseason about Marco Andretti. Oh, we see a car in the fence.
Saavedra. All right.
We'll bring out the caution.
Okay, now is that the caution that Oriol Servia was looking for? We mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Well, it puts him back on sequence, but he's lost a lot of track position. He's back at 21st.
We're still 38 laps, 37 laps for the finish.
Here we go. Well, he's got damage on the wing already as he turns into turn 10.
You know, that's a tough corner. You know, he's got damage, which means he's lacking front downforce, front grip on those tires. He's looking in his mirror at, was that Kimball coming up behind him, challenging him. Yeah. Locked the fronts up a bit. His apex speed was a little too high. It's a compounding problem, ends up in the wall.
Jan.
Leaders onto pit road, of course. The first will be Helio Castroneves. Coming to a stop behind him, it will be Hinchcliffe. And over across the front now will be Will Power.
Watch me. Go, go.
Okay, that's the call from Roger Penske when it comes to Castroneves. We wait for Power. And no, here comes Hinchcliffe. He's going to lose the spot. He loses the spot to Hinchcliffe. He couldn't get it in gear. And we see now Scott Dixon getting his service. Simona De Silvestro also making her way out.
Go, 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 go.
And here comes both Marco, Justin Wilson. So no change of position there, but there's definitely a change of position in the top three.
But Dixon did get in front of Andretti, didn't he, on that pit stop?
He did. Now,
Full course yellow. This is JR's second time passing under full course yellow this race. Now, JR is in a hurry to get packed up here, but, I'm sorry. That's not allowed.
No
She's
passing.
on the radio. She's on that button, I'll bet, right now, saying, hey, I just got passed under full course yellow.
Yeah, pass him.
No, we'll get the info. Just hang on.
So there is the high-pitched voice of anxiety, enthusiasm, and the calm, cool, collected engineer saying, chill out.
So they will pack up, we'll get the track cleaned up, and get ready to go racing. You get a feeling this one's going to be a thriller to the end. This town has got very used to doing a terrific job at hosting this event. It's the 9th consecutive year for the IZOD IndyCar Series on the streets of St. Petersburg. And always a terrific event. Lots to talk about here as well as we welcome you back to the NBC Sports Network live coverage. Lee Diffie along with Townsend Bell, Wally Dallenbach, Robin Miller, Jan Beekes, Brian Till and Kevin Lee. Glad you could be with us. We are live for the season opener. And there is your order, and you'll see when we went to a break that Hildebrand ahead of Simona Di Silvestro. Obviously, GR is not on the same lap as her, but it needs to be addressed at some point because you cannot pass under yellow. Now, when we went to the break, and the reason why we're under this full course yellow is for Dragon Racing's Sebastian Saavedra. This is how it happened several laps ago.
Yeah, but look at his wing. Look at the left side. So he's got damage there when you guys mentioned when he made to go that left-hander, there's no downforce on the front. Now you watch here.
And it's got worse.
And it got worse. And, I mean, it doesn't look like that much, but I'll tell you what, guys, that's a lot when you don't have that downforce, especially on a left-hander. It's your left wing.
Well, especially when you see it sort of delaminate almost and that big flap come up. It's stalling almost the whole left front side of the wing. It's killing the main plane and the other upper element.
One of the big stories of this race today is the one and only rookie in this 25-car field, Tristan Vautier. He's with Brian. And Brian, what an outstanding debut.
Oh, an outstanding debut. We heard the name Tristan Vautier a lot today. We're going to hear it a lot in the future, I'm sure. I know the day started with a lot of promise. It didn't end up the way you wanted it to, Tristan, but what lessons do you take out of St. Petersburg moving into the second round at Barber? What can you apply there?
Well, I think I learned a lot. We can be happy about our weekend. I think the team did a fantastic job, and unfortunately, spare part, the exhaust broke, so there was not much we could control about that. I think we really did well on what was under our control. Car was very strong. It was not using tires, so it was very good. Could be very consistent, and it was a great day, man. I had so much fun. It was so cool to run in those streets, and I just wish I was still out there with those guys battling, but we cannot really be mad at anyone. It's just part of racing, and really happy about our first weekend together with the team. So really cannot be too angry, even if it sucks. And really want to thank Florida Lottery for being on my car this race with the Flamingos. It was amazing, and the whole team for a great job. So we'll go to the next one, and hopefully we can we can have good performances and convert them into results.
Yes, Tristan Vautier is a name we'll hear many more times. Jan?
With Roger Penske now, first of all, congratulations on holding down the positions you do, but having to take this pit stop now, or do you go into super fuel save mode?
Well, I think we've been saving fuel all day. We got a pretty idea on how the Chevys are doing, and I think we're in good shape here. It's just a matter of being able to get out a little bit of lead and then be able to start saving fuel, because we're right on the edge, but I think we're good.
Were you okay as hard as the two teammates were racing against each other early on in that one segment?
Well, we don't have any team orders just so they don't take each other out, but it's always a little dicey when you see them side by side, but it's all good, and I'm so glad the way the cars are running here at the first race, but a lot of time to go. We got a little weather coming in, so we'll see what happens.
All right, the captain's going to get a chance to do some more pit strategy, watching weather and fuel.
And Wally, what an incredible week this could be, because as of at the conclusion of last weekend's NASCAR racing, the captain led the Nationwide Series NASCAR Sprint Cup for the first time, and he could be leading the IZOD IndyCar Series all within the 1 week.
You have so much respect for Roger Penske and what he's done in motorsports. He's incredible. I mean, he definitely dots the I's and crosses the T's.
Well, at this point in time, folks, while we're under yellow, we would like to take this moment to pay tribute to a couple of people. John Cardinal, who was the chief spokesperson for Sonoma Raceway, Infineon Raceway for 15 years. He passed away last Wednesday night. And also Jim Sweeney passed away last night. Jim's son, Rob, is a long-time member of our broadcast crew. Our thoughts are with those two families.
Sign a waiver?
Waiver?
2 seats, one for you and one for racing legend Mario Andretti. The fastest seat in sports sweepstakes. Enter for a chance to start an IZOD IndyCar Series race at shophonda.com.
The command has been given. Row 1, let me know. Row 1 hot. Row 2 hot. 3 hot. 5 hot. These cars rolling.
Live in-car cameras. 4-in-1 mosaic. Having your heart race as fast as theirs.
Here we go. Hey, good screen.
That's powerful.
They come to the green flag.
Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
It was the best day. It was the best day. It was the best day. It was the best day because of you.
We make a great pair.
Huh?
Progressive and the great outdoors. We make a great pair.
Right, totally. That's what I was thinking.
Covering the things that make the outdoors great. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Montreal, Boston. One of the NHL's oldest rivalries never lacks intensity. And in recent years, bragging rights belong to the Bruins. But the Canadiens have risen, staring at the top of the Eastern Conference.
Price with the save!
Epic rivals meet again in a fight for division supremacy. Wednesday night rivalry, Canadiens, Bruins. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network.
If you like what you see today, a quick reminder that the IZOD IndyCar Series continues on the NBC Sports Network in just 2 weeks. Looking forward to the Honda Grand Prix of Alabama from Barber Motorsports Park. That's Sunday, April 7 at 3 o'clock Eastern. April 7th, 3 o'clock Eastern. Let's get to Brian Till. Brian?
Well, Sebastian Saavedra just standing on the box. I had heard the crew saying, can you hang on a couple more laps? So the damage to the front had obviously been there for a while. Did you think you were going to be able, obviously, to make it to the next pit stop to change that nose and be back out?
I was holding on for dear life, man. You know, it was very unfortunate. I think it was the first yellow that came out. I clipped Viso, damaged my front wing, but we were doing it. We were losing a lot of positions, but I think we could have maintained a good pace. Unfortunately, I couldn't hold it. You know, that was it. Very sorry for the trip.
We got some problem out on the racetrack, so we're going to have to let you go, Sebastian. Lee?
Yeah, drama for J.R. Hildebrand.
What in the world?
We were under
Full
caution,
course
right?
caution.
Under caution.
He's already under the gun for passing under the caution. I wonder if he was trying to let Simona by, and that's what happened. Maybe.
This will tell us.
What? Oh.
Who was that? That was Will Power.
Oh, boy.
That was Will Power.
This is the accordion effect.
Well, something happened. Look at
Well, Power was slowing up to get his tires warm. Hildebrand wasn't watching where he was going.
Oh, my goodness. Right over the top of Power's car.
Is Will Power's car okay? That's what I'm wondering.
Holy cow.
And more debris on the racetrack. The drivers are aware of that. That's good.
Oh.
JR is okay. It was a low-speed incident, but that was awkward. That was...
For a low-speed incident, there's a lot of damage on that
was
thing.
wild. You see
the mirrors broke? The right side mirrors broke.
And there's tire rub. There's rub at the back. See the smoke?
Yeah, right there underneath the right side of the wing.
That's the rear pod rubbing. And he's checking it out now.
No, he's going to have to come in. Well, I tell you what, you know how hard it is to drive without a mirror anywhere.
Here it is from Will's view.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
The heck?
You know, you hear a lot about distracted driving these days, and we make a lot about the steering wheels. You can see right there on JR's car. Look at the number of buttons and information. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he was looking down at a map setting or some information and just flat wasn't paying attention.
So he pulled 2 gears. He'd gone up 2 gears.
Yeah.
Usually you're not pulling 2 gears when you're looking at your steering wheel.
Listen, in fairness to JR, that's almost happened to me 40 times in my career.
Yeah, well, we expect that.
But man, he'll never make that mistake again, I promise you. And you got to hate it for Will Power. He's going to have to pit. It's going to put him in the back of the stack.
And like I said, that mirror thing, that's tough because you drive with your mirrors a lot on these street cars. You're always trying to keep track of what's going on around you. And without that mirror, especially going into like turn 1, the last car, that's an important piece of equipment to have.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going to have to come in.
This is going to give us a different perspective. This is the view from Simona Di Silvestra's car. Look up ahead on the right. she's saying, if that number 12 is damaged, I'm moving into a top 3.
That's the easiest 2 spots I'm going to
It is. Look at the right rear. The right rear is all over the place. It's off.
Cut the tire.
Our pole sitter.
Take your time, Will. Take your time here. We got plenty of time. Don't let that tire come off. Don't let that tire. Take your time.
That's the voice of Tim Cindric, president of Penske Racing. Here he
If that
comes.
tire comes off, it's going to take the wing with him.
Tell us more, Jan.
The reason he's telling him not to be in a hurry is because it's obviously under caution. This will not make a difference for your position. They know they have a fair bit of work to do, and they didn't want to lose that on pit road. They go for 2 areas on the car, obviously, the right rear, and then they're working on the mirror as well. It's my understanding the rules do not allow you to run without a mirror. So even if you wanted to, by rule, you must have 2 working mirrors, and now he does.
That's a quick fix on that mirror.
I was watching the right rear. How did they get a mirror on that car so fast?
So will do some checking now, as he does. Just the slight weaving.
Yeah, he's just making sure nothing's bent.
There was the call. Does it feel all right?
The suspension looked okay.
Wouldn't it be cool if that right rear wheel pod wally was like 50 pounds of drag? And he picked.
Let's take you back to that stop and show you how the guys at the front of the Penske number 12 worked on the mirror.
Nobody's even touched it yet.
They just kind of like pop it back in. They just
it's
turned
swiveled. I see.
They just turned it. Okay. I thought it was broke off.
I was saying they could give any Formula One team a run for their money.
Is that a new quick release mirror? Okay, so Will's back out there and Adam. Still under our 4th full course yellow today.
Well, this should erase any fuel thing, which is great. I hated the fuel mileage stuff last year.
So J.R. Hildebrand makes his way back to the National Guard Panther Racing pit box. It has been a tough day for him for a variety of reasons.
You can see him telling this is engineer David Cripps on the right. And he's saying, listen, I think he was saying, I'm on the radio. I was looking down at the dash real quick and just completely lost sight of what was going on.
So we'll power back in. Is this for something that doesn't quite feel right?
Fix this mirror right.
Yeah, I think they're just going to double check everything. The mirror may be off a little bit.
You heard Tim say we're just going to fix this mirror, again, because he's not going to lose track position. He's already running at the back.
He needs a tape.
They basically have enough time as a pace lap, just making sure everything, and now they have a really good chance to look over the rear and see if there is any additional damage, checking the rear wing, getting the thumbs up from the crew, and now adjusting the mirror, so not only does he have one, but it actually is something he can see out of.
Well, he's not worried about losing a position, but what he is worried about is if it goes green, he's not going to be right at the tail end of the pack.
As Power exits, let's get to Hildebrand. Kevin?
JR, what happened in the contact with Power?
We were getting ready for the restart, and I was just dialing my knobs back and talking to the team about the start, and the guys all slowed up, and I just ran into the back of them. It was totally my fault, and because as soon as I hit him, I couldn't help from going anywhere, so it was just, it was totally my fault, and I'm really, I'm super sorry for Will. He's obviously having a good race. We were just trying to get back on the lead lap there, and the guys gave me a good car. We had good pace. Was just doing too much all at once when the field slowed up there.
A long day for J.R. Hildebrand. He had good pace, but too many things went poorly. Over to Jan.
With Tim Cindric, and we just heard from J.R. Hildebrand saying it was totally his fault getting in the back of Will. Do you think you have the car fixed now to your liking?
Yeah, I think it's okay. We're full of fuel, and some of these guys are going to save fuel, but he's got a long way to go here. So we're unfortunate. Obviously, there's nothing we can do about it, but we'll see what happens here. Long way to go.
But you don't feel there's any necessarily speed damage, anything at the rear that's going to slow him down?
I don't think so. We just cut the rear pod off of there, and obviously it did its job, but cut the rear tire. We just changed it out, and we'll see how it goes. The suspension looks good.
All right, you heard it. He has fuel, some other people don't. Boy, Will Power with fuel in a hurry, that should be good.
27 laps to go. It will be good, Jan. Watch him work his way through the field. So, the order as we stand at the moment, Castro Neves, Hinchcliffe, they have been at the top for so long. De Silvestro is third. Scott Dixon has worked his way all the way up to fourth. That is incredible considering he started the day in 20th. There he is right there. The Iceman not giving up. Marco Andretti 5th. Justin Wilson 6th. Another good effort. Kanan 7th. EJ Viso hanging in there in his first ride in the Andretti Autosport machine. Then Tagliani and Bourdais, who was also hung tough today to be in the top 10. Still so many stories to unfold.
I just want to call out to Viso because right before that first caution, Viso was about to get lapped by Will Power.
How much does Hinchcliffe want this?
Hinchcliffe's got to do it now. If he's going to take the lead, this is the time to do it on the restart.
Here goes Marco up the inside of Scott Dixon. He wants that position back, and he's got it. The RC Kohler car slots in there right behind Simona.
Oh, and
Hinchcliffe goes up the inside. Wow, Elio made a mistake at turn 1. Hinchcliffe is the new race leader.
That's when you got to do it on these restarts. Elio made just a little bit of mistake, and boy, Hinchcliffe capitalized on it.
Inside goes Kanan on his old teammate Marco Andretti.
This may not end well.
They're trying to give each other room, and they do. Nice one. Justin Wilson had a good look at that. Then EJ Viso tucks in behind him. Good stuff at the restart. Giving each other room, clean racing.
Doesn't get any better than that. You know, Wally, right before the break, we see Tony Kanaan sticking it in on Dixon.
Oh, can he make the corner, though?
He just makes it. Great pass. Here comes Marco.
Good scrapping on this lap, building back up to speed.
Marco made a great decision there to back out on that fast chicane. That is single file through there. Let's see what happens on this critical front straight.
And Elio will be kicking himself. Castro Neves will not be happy about turn 1 at the restart there. And Marco makes a very easy move on Scott Dixon. Dixon tries to respond, but he's not close enough.
Marco certainly made an easy move. Helped a lot by push to pass. He was on the button.
Bourdais and Carpenter. And then back to Takuma Sato, who's just fallen through the field all day. Trying to get his way back up into the top 10 at least. And Will Power, he is in 14th at the moment. We'll continually update that for you. There's the Verizon car. How high can he climb? Let's show you the restart. This will tell us more about what Elio Castro Neves did. Keep your eye on the green GoDaddy car as well. Down into 1.
Castro Neves just got sideways, and that was how he actually pulled that off on Power. But this time it got a little bit too loose getting into the corner, just enough for Hinchcliffe to capitalize on it.
Braking for turn 1 on a restart is a game of chicken. Who's going to brake later? There, Castro Neves broke too late. Simona got it just right. And Marco Andretti got up inside of Dixon, but then he gave it back up. You see Marco up the inside. And what Dixon does is say, okay, I'll give you the inside. I'll stay outside because it's going to give me the inside position at the very next corner.
KV Racing.
You know, Wally, just before Hildebrand had that incident, I was going to say a lot's been made of Marco's off-season efforts to improve his craft, driver coaching, all of this. I mean, so far today, this is about as strong as we've seen him in a while on the street circuit.
And I always thought Marco would be really, really good at this type of racing. His aggressive style, I always thought he really would shine on these street courses, and he's doing a good job today.
He got his first professional win here in Indy Lights, in Firestone Indy Lights. So he likes this place, and he was looking forward to it. He's been running and training incredibly hard in the off-season, in addition to what we mentioned earlier about the driver coach in England, Rob Wilson, who has trained a laundry list of drivers.
My right leg.
From Kimi Räikkönen down.
Hole in the front nose.
One, two, James Hinchcliffe, Elio Castro Neves, and Simona Di Silvestro. Would you have picked the top 3 to be that?
I'm pretty close. We knew Simona was going to run good here. I mean, this is a very good track for her. So I think everybody expected for her to be on the podium.
You know, watching with Simona on board, it seems like all day she's kind of given up any challenging situations in terms of not pushing it. She's been conservative on the start. She hasn't pushed the restarts too much. This is the last stint. It is time to go, and I think she's ready.
thing that these IndyCar drivers like to do in the off-season is drive different cars. James Hinchcliffe went down to the streets of Service Paradise last year and raced a V8 supercar for the first time. He's raced sports cars for a couple of years and did the Rolex 24 at Daytona this year. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out too well with a failure on the car. However, he is open to driving different cars and improving himself.
That's Gerald Tyler, Simona's race engineer, asking her to save a little bit of fuel now. What she would have done is turned up the mixture, gone to full rich on the restart, see if she could make a move on anyone or also help her defend against a challenge. Now that things have slotted in, she's going to try to save a little bit of gas, make sure she can make it to the end. Elio all over Hildebrand.
Back in the pack, Power gained another position, 14th to 13th. We'll keep you updated on that. Meanwhile, this is the fight for the win, and Castro Neves wants to get back-to-back wins again like he did last time back in 06-07. He won last year. He wants to make 3 wins 4. Love this section of the track. Fantastic at St. Pete. Up into 13 and 14. Can Hinch sustain this pressure from Elio Castro Neves with the time left?
You know, another 2 guys, Wally, that have come out of nowhere, struggled all weekend. Justin Wilson and Alex Tagliani running 7th and 9th right now. What up with that?
Yeah. I don't know. What up with that? Tagliani was talking to us this morning about he had a big issue with front tires.
There we see Craig Hampson, former Newman Haas racing engineer. Many, many wins and championships from that organization. Back with Hinchcliffe.
You know, it's going to come down to how many of these guys are going to have to get in that fuel mode. You know, if Castro Neves doesn't and Hinchcliffe does, there could be a difference there. I mean, I don't know what there are in their fuel situation, but obviously Simona's had to dial it back a little bit to save some fuel, and you can tell already the gap between 2nd place and 3rd place.
There's a lot on the line here for 2 people in the top 3. James Hinchcliffe in the GoDaddy car has never won an IZOD IndyCar Series race. He's been on the podium twice, once at Long Beach, once at Milwaukee, but a win would be special. He wants to get the first Indy win for GoDaddy. Remember when Danica won? It was in Japan. That was when she was in the Motorola car. Danica never won in the GoDaddy car. Hinch wants to do that.
And he's getting a lot of help, of course, from Craig Hampson. And the choice they made, you'll notice that he is on the black. He's on the primary tires. And Craig Hampson decided that if they were going to have a long run, he thinks they may not be as fast at the beginning, but he thinks he wants to finish the race on the more durable blacks. So what they're trying to do is run as hard as they can because he knows all the people who are chasing him behind are on the alternate reds. He's hoping they'll go off and they'll stay strong.
That's a great point. Great point. Yeah.
Absolutely. 20 laps left to play. It's a long time for a green flag run on reds.
Gap opening up between 2nd and 3rd from Castro Neves to Simona Di Silvestro. Spoke about that fuel conservation that she's having to employ. Kanaan is 4th, just drifting back a little further. Andretti is in the top 5. Dixon 6th, Wilson 7th. EJ Vizo is 8th, Tagliani 9th, and Takuma Sato has worked his way back up into the top 10.
Marco has caught TK now. His pace looks really good. He started to gap it on Dixon. Remember, Dixon was all over him earlier. He started to settle in, build his pace. And in a few laps here with Kanaan and Andretti on reds, it'll be interesting to see whose car handles better as the tires wear off. 2 guys who know each other well from the Andretti Autosport days. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Here's 4 and 5. Big off-season, important off-season for Tony as well. He recently got married. I love this because you're talking about a 15-year veteran in Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti, the student for many years to the veteran Tony Kanaan, teacher teaching the student a bit here, teacher leading the student.
This has been a good recovery from Tony Kanaan. That last pit stop, they had some trouble getting it into neutral, so they stalled the car coming out. He went from 5th to 8th, picked up the spot when Power was dealing with his issue, and he's worked his way now back up into the 5th position. But they've been concerned about tire wear. This is a used set of reds on this last stint. Had they not had the issue with Hildebrand, they were thinking about running really hard and coming in halfway in this final stint, taking 1 extra stop. So they're going to be hanging on these last few laps most likely. EJ Vizo in the Sitco car for Andretti Autosport. EJ runs in 8th place, and if you had seen this car yesterday, folks, in qualifying, in final practice, I should say, it was not looking good. For this man, if he can yield a top 10, Brian, that'll be a miraculous turnaround.
Well, Lee, I checked with Ziggy Harkis, who calls the strategy for Viso. He said, we're a little light on fuel, so we're going to have to save a little bit, but the balance of the car is very good. We arrived with a pretty good setup. We got set back with the accident, but we've got a good car. We just have to conserve fuel to the end.
18 laps left here on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. Justin Wilson still shadowing Scott Dixon. Viso has a good look at that. And no immediate threat from Takuma Sato or Alex Tagliani. The Blight blue car you see right there. There's Tag in the Barracuda machine. Did it tough through practice and qualifying, but has raced really well.
Yeah, Lee Tagliani had told Wally and myself this morning after morning warm-up he couldn't do 3 laps hard with the front tires, that they were going to have to make massive changes for the race. I got to say, he's hanging tough right now. I think they sorted a lot of that out.
Yeah, he was very frustrated. They said 2 or 3 different setups on the car, nothing worked.
You know, looking back to 11th place, Ed Carpenter, I mean, talk about a guy who's made really tremendous improvement, a lot of hard work in the offseason to improve his form. Don't forget, he won the last race of the season, but that was on a 2-mile oval in California. Top 11, you know, street circuit run for Ed Carpenter is fantastic.
Well, he's holding off the likes of a 4-time, open-wheel champ like Sebastian Bourdais. That tells you a lot. And he worked hard in the offseason, like you said, Townsend, where Ryan Hunter-Ray actually went out to Sonoma and drove his car just to say, look, this is what a car should feel like when you're on a road course. Give him a few pointers if he could.
And those guys really would like to have a second car in their stable. It's a 1-car team, and, you know, talking to Derek Walker earlier this weekend, you know, he really felt that they could gain a whole lot if they had another car in that stable. Not only would help Ed, but, you know, Ed is so strong on the ovals. I mean, he's one of the best out there.
Here comes Bourdais.
And here comes Power in the background. The Verizon car is looming. Bourdais on the inside of Carpenter.
Bourdais did use push to pass. According to our information, he's got 4 left.
10 total you get, 10 push-to-pass opportunities. The orange and blue car, that's Charlie Kimball. He's been fighting and digging hard all day. The Rolex 24 at Daytona winner overall this year. He's shadowing Will Power, trying to get by. If you've just joined us and you're wondering why Will Power is buried back in the pack, this very awkward incident that J.R. Hildebrand just told us was all his own fault. Look to the right. Watch this. Under yellow. Oof. And he just got caught out. J.R. Hildebrand told us that he was not paying attention. He was playing with some switches. He thought they were going to stay at the regular speed, and they'd slowed, and he just climbed all over Power.
Yeah, now, Ed has made a lot of improvement in the offseason, no doubt, but his last time, 104.1. Quick time right now is going to be a 103.1. I'm pretty confident Will Power could do that lap time, but he's getting stacked up by Ed. He's got to be careful. He needs to get by. He's got to get up into that front pack to have a chance at this thing, but he can't make a mistake.
At the moment, Power is some 12 seconds away from getting on the podium. That's how much he has to make up. At least a second a lap with 15 to go. If he can do it, it's going to be hard work. At the moment, James Hinchcliffe leads by less than a second over Helio Castroneves. And then Simona Di Silvestro is poised for her best ever IndyCar result. She's in the background. It is far from over for the win of this race. Hinchcliffe versus Castroneves. Andretti Autosport versus Penske Racing. 2 of the super teams going at it at the front.
And this is where you would think the Reds would start to fall off.
Just going to say that, yeah. We could be in that crossover, but
right.
I'm impressed that Castroneves is just only gained here.
14 to go. 2 years ago, James Hinchcliffe didn't even get to drive here because his Newman Haas seat was not yet finalized.
Wally, that last shot, you can really see the marbles building up offline.
And they have been sweeping the track.
Every yellow flag they're sweeping. This is the longest green flag run I think we've had, and the marbles are really building up.
Through turn 8. Fast turn 9 right here. This is where EJ Viso crashed. Hard hit into that wall on the right-hand side. And then through turn 10, the tricky turn 10 that claimed Saavedra and others, as it always does every year. Through 11, 12, and the final 2 turns, 13 and 14.
Amazingly, Craig Hampson, his engineer for James Hinchcliffe, just came to me off the stand and said, do you have any idea how many overtakes Castroneves has? Because our monitor says 0.
Yeah, that's what ours says too.
Yeah, so they don't know. He says, we need to know. We need to know because they're planning their strategy.
4 for Hinchcliffe, 3 for you.
That sounded
Interesting.
like
Was that Roger Penske
Yeah,
just gave us the answer?
Sounded like the captain.
Our monitor says 0, but Mr. P is saying 3.
So now, if Andretti Autosport is scanning either our broadcast or if they're scanning Roger Penske's team, they now got the data that they did not have before, because a new regulation this year, well, always last year you could not ever scramble the radios, but now it's the entire race weekend, never allowed to scramble radios, so we can listen in.
Kimball on Carpenter gets through, and you can see that Power has got by as well. We'll show you that. There's Will, there's Charlie, there's Carpenter. James Jakes tucked in. Here's the replay. On board with Will Power. Down to turn 1, Wally.
He just drives down in there. I mean, we've been seeing this all day down here with these guys. It's the best place on the racetrack to make your pass. But you've got to get off that last corner good, unless you're going to use the push to pass. I'm not sure if Will did on that one.
Well, you can hear him just nick the rev limiter at the top of the rev range.
Just
so
a little bit deeper.
That's how close the gearing is. I'm going to look for what is Will Power's lap time going to be on this clean lap that he gets. That'll give us a really good indication of if he's got a chance to break into the top 5.
The yellow car is Graham Rahal in the minus machine. He is trying hard to get up into the top 15 to get by his teammate James Jakes and then mix it up with Ed Carpenter. It's been a frustrating weekend for the man who won here and is the youngest ever winner in the IZOD IndyCar Series history. Counting him down, 12 to go. Firestone telemetry giving you some important figures on the right. Here we go, pass for the leader, an attempt at least. Elio thought about it on the inside, wasn't quite close enough to James Hinchcliffe.
I mean, and you're using almost this whole racetrack to get yourself to that last corner close enough to the guy so you can try to make that move down in 1.
But in order to do that, you use up those front tires.
Yeah.
You lose a little bit of downforce on the front. It's a little extra scrub, a little extra friction on the front tires, and he's on reds already. So we're still showing Hinch at 4 push-to-passes left. If I'm him, I'm thinking, man, if I can get to 4 to go, I'm going to use one every lap on that front straightaway.
Counting them down. When they cross the line, we'll have just 10 laps remaining in the season opener. For the man in the green machine, the GoDaddy car, James Hinchcliffe, the Canadian, spent Tuesday with the Toronto Blue Jays at batting practice, part of spring training. So maybe that got his week off to a good start.
One thing Hinch told me a couple days ago is that in addition to the driver coaching Hinch got mind coaching, mental coaching. He's using every bit of that information right now.
He's great for the sport. He's a cool young guy. He's very good with the media. He does TV work as well. He's prepared to drive a variety of cars and learn and round himself as a driver and grow. And you just see James Hinchcliffe being the kind of character and driver in the IZOD IndyCar Series who's going to be around for a long time.
You know, Lee, that's just it. The difference I find between a James Hinchcliffe and somebody like Marco Andretti. Marco, 6 or 7 years into the series, now doing an off-season adjustment with driver coaching and these sorts of things. A guy like Hinchcliffe, a guy like Will Power, they're making adjustments every session to what they're doing, how they're doing it. I think that's the mark of a champion. That's what it takes to win races in this series.
Something that's going to get a little interesting here is if Tony Kanaan can bridge that gap to his teammate Simona Di Silvestro. She's in fuel save mode to get to the end over these final 9 laps, but TK is getting closer and closer.
And it's affecting the way she's driving. In that last corner, I saw her carry a little oversteer. She clipped the apex curve ever so slightly with her right front. That's a sign of a driver that's pushing as hard as they can and maybe stepping over the bounds, maybe for the first time this weekend, Wally.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I mean, she's been so smooth and methodical all race long. Now, all of a sudden, we're getting down to time. She's seen her mirrors fill up with her teammates.
So hard to do, though. They're taking horsepower from her with the fuel, and she's got to make it up somehow.
Go fast, but save fuel.
The clear time
This morning, Simona was just 23rd in the warm-up, making people wonder, is there an issue? Gerald Tyler told me, said, no problems at all. We just wanted to use a used set of tires and see how long they would last, and they were very pleased with that for a long bit. But you can hear Gerald Tyler there, and I think we heard Simona a moment ago. They may be wearing a little bit, and I know right behind her, Tony Khan, as I mentioned, has been concerned about those tires. Also hearing everybody's still saving a little bit, but it sounds like everybody's going to make it. Brian?
I just checked with Jimmy Vassar. I asked him about Tony Kanaan. He said, we can run pretty strong. We can't run full, Rich, but we can run pretty strong, so we're not having to conserve a whole lot. And he looked at me and gave me a wry smile and said, we've got 2 push to passes left as well.
You may have heard that radio transmission. Simona Di Silvestro saying to Gerald Tyler about rear tires, and she's falling into the clutches of her teammate.
And what Gerald said, Lee, was that the rear tire pressures are indicating high. There's telemetry coming off the cars indicating what the current tire pressure is. Talked to Gerald before the race. He said it's very difficult to hit the right pressure numbers. It's the hardest thing about his job in terms of making decisions for this car.
And higher pressures mean loose.
That's right.
You're not going to have as much grip in the rear as you would if the pressures were down where they need it to be.
7 1/4 laps left to run here. The Canadian James Hinchcliffe leads the Brazilian Helio Castroneves, and the Swiss driver Simona Di Silvestro is in 3rd. She's never had an IZOD IndyCar Series podium before. So much on the line for 2 people in the top 3. Hinch going for his very first win. He's got to hang in there for 7 more laps.
He's got to hang in there, and Castroneves is hanging in there with those red tires. It's really amazing that he hasn't seen the tire wear. Now, Simona, on the other hand, has the tire pressure issue and is clearly losing the back end of the car lap after lap.
But Castroneves was awfully good on the blacks as well. If you remember, he made the pass on Will Power on those black tires. So his car's working on either right now.
I just saw Hinch get a little loose there under Power with the blacks. I mean, should we really be surprised that Penske's got good tire wear?
Yeah, no, we shouldn't be. But I also think, you know, Hinchcliffe is giving it everything he's got right now, too. I mean, it's getting down to where he can smell a victory. So
now he has used one push to pass. Oh, no.
Power.
That looks like turn 4 runoff. Oh, and that could be marbles on the tire, or it could be damage.
This will tell us. Wait, now is there a drum with that right rear?
I believe there's a problem with the right rear.
Now. There is now, yeah. Remember, the right rear was the one that was damaged in the Hildebrand incident.
In rally driving, this is called the Scandinavian flick. The left rear goes out, then he releases the brake, the right rear goes out. He got into the tires, but clearly a wounded race car at this point. Now he's got to wait because he's got the whole field coming through.
And he has dropped. He was verging on the top 10. He's dropped to 16th place now, Will Power, after leading the race early, getting passed by his teammate Helio Castroneves on a restart, sitting most of the race in 3rd. And then we saw that replay earlier in the last caution where J.R. Hildebrand climbed all over him. 5.5 laps to go here in Florida.
I think if Hinchcliffe can just keep doing what he's doing for the next 3 laps, I think he's in good shape because he's got 3 more push to passes.
He's building a little bit of a gap Wally. Boy, they're both starting to slide around. I just saw the first indication of Castroneves getting a little loose.
Yep. These guys going at it at the front.
Hinchcliffe on his push to pass. He's got 2 left, 5 laps to go.
Surprised he used it.
Taking the end.
You're right. He had a gap coming into that last corner.
Yeah.
Guys, the award today as Marco Andretti gets on the inside of Tony Kanaan. Great move from Marco. The 26 slots on the inside, the 25, I should say. Freudian slip there because he used to be 26. The 25 goes up the inside of Tony Kanaan, and now he's after a podium here at the streets of St. Pete.
Marco Andretti has been learning how to race from Tony Kanaan, learning about women, learning about how to buy fancy cars since he was 14 years old. He just showed the master how it's done.
So here we go. Now, there's going to be no love here because there's no teammates here. Marco wants a podium. Before we forget, we have to say that Simona Di Silvestro, who we ride with, gets the Firestone extra mile. And she's going to have to go the extra mile to hold Andretti off.
Marco is all over her. She has 3 push-to passes left. There will be 4 to go at the line. Wally, I'd be tempted
I was
here.
just thinking, I think I'd rather run out of fuel trying than have to let these guys go because I'm on
Fair
fuel
point. She
conserve.
is on the button now. Did he just say conserve?
I don't care what he said. I wouldn't be listening to what he says right now.
Inside move, Andretti thinks about it. Thinks again, does he run it in there? No. Stays behind Simona Di Silvestro in the last 3 3/4 laps.
Engineer's saving fuel, and she says, hey, I got 3 push-to-passes
Yeah,
left.
that's where I'm going, baby. 3 more laps, 4 more laps. I mean, because look, she can lose a bunch of spots right here. You got to go for it.
Now, Marco does this a lot, I've found through the years. Even though he's not close, even though he's not going to make a pass, you'll find him almost every corner. He's going to duck out and show you that red nose in the mirror.
You're just worrying somebody.
You're just trying
letting them know.
Just trying to create some anxiety.
This is the Marco Andretti Autosport fans have been waiting for some time. Fighting to the end, vying for podiums, in the mix.
I tell you, Marco is getting into the corner a lot better than Simone is.
Mass radio transmission going on.
Boy,
Final
he is awfully close at the best part of the track
have to
be
use
close.
the button.
She hasn't pushed it yet, Wally. Up there it goes. She's on the button.
Trying to defend for these final 3 laps. So far, so good. That lap was
look
tough.
at Vizo.
Vizo on the inside of Justin Wilson and tags him.
That was a rub. That was a rub, not a tag.
Back at it. Dixon's in the mix. He's got Vizo after him now. Takuma Sato's on the back of that train. What a finish to this race.
Oh, boy. Here it comes.
Sato on the inside.
Oh!
Pulled it off.
Went over the curb. Just touches the side of Justin Wilson. No harm done.
2 years ago, that would have never happened between those two. That would have been a yellow.
Takuma's known for his late race dives. He's late. It's Simona.
Copy that. So get your exits.
So what she's saying is, I am all tired. I think she's saying all tired out or something with the tires. And Gerald, our engineer, is saying just focus on the exit.
Yeah.
We show no push to passes left for Marco. That's obviously what. Oh, he just got into the back of her, I think.
She's loose. She's loose off turn 14. Now he gets into the back of her. Andretti's growing impatient.
And she's on her last push to pass.
Yep.
2 laps to go. And Marco's going to have to go around the outside if he wants to get her here. This is precious stuff for Simona Di Silvestro.
Those tires are smoked on the back.
They're shot. She has got a loose race car on her hands right now.
Now she should drive right up the inside here. Up.
Nothing's changed up front.
Vizo looking.
It's still Hinchcliffe. In fact, he's edged out a little bit. Hinchcliffe's got a 1 second lead.
Look at
Meanwhile,
Simona.
Simona's got her hands full.
She's driving a forklift right now. That's what it feels like. The rear tires are steering the car with her throttle.
Hang on, can she, for 1.5 more laps for her first IndyCar podium?
You know Marco's going to go for it somewhere.
There he is. He's just showing a nose, just trying to get in her head. Now, she has no push to passes left. If Marco can stay close, this is going to be his best chance to make a pass.
And she should run down the inside of the racetrack.
She's gone wide.
There it goes.
Marco gets it. Tony might get up the inside. Kanan looking to get there. Simona now back in 4th and fighting to stay in 4th. Kanan sweeps around the inside and gets it. So from 3rd to 5th in a matter of a corner. Vizo on Dixon.
Not enough.
Look at Vizo, so well behaved, making good decisions today.
He now knows he's got a car under him that can get the job done. We're on our way home. Final lap. James Hinchcliffe has a 1.1 second lead. Sato on Wilson. Done.
Wow. That was a good move.
Great move.
Good driving too by Justin, because he said, I don't want any part of this.
I think Justin knew that was coming.
Yeah. James Hinchcliffe is on his way to his very first win in the IZOD IndyCar Series. He's been on the podium twice before, but the mayor of Hinchtown is now an IndyCar Series winner. Go Daddy goes to victory lane. It's not over for the final positions in the top 10 though. Simona is trying to hold off Scott Dixon. She wants a top 5. Marco will get a podium behind Elio Castro Neves.
Oh, look at her get sideways. It's going to be a sprint to the line.
Has Dixon got it? Has he got the run? 3-1 across the line.
I think Dixon did get it.
Who got it? Wow. Scott Dixon, that was a gutsy effort. He started 20th, and Scott Dixon comes across the line behind Tony Kanaan in 5th place. There's Kirsten. That's James Hinchcliffe's girlfriend. Delight for the Andretti Autosport pilot. Wow.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Hey, James, I really like James 2.0. Go to map 8.
Well done, James Hinchcliffe.
You did a great job. You did every veteran thing we needed today. Fabulous job.
I think Andretti Motorsports has made a statement that they are here to stay.
Here we go. Look at this. Scott Dixon in the middle in the red car. Viso on the far left. Simona on the right. And that tells you the story as to why Scott Dixon got it. Fantastic. Run right to the line.
What a drive by Dixon.
Yep.
With all the hardship on setup to come back.
Watch that guy this year. He's going to be tough for the championship.
To Jan Beekes. Jan?
And what a debut for his engineer. Nice first race, a reunion with you and James.
Yeah, fantastic. Just so lucky to land here with the Andretti Autosport crew, the GoDaddy car. A great driver. You know, it was really late me coming into the program, so the speed of the car doesn't have a ton to do with me, but James did a great job today. You know, I was talking to him this morning. I said, I'm eager to see James 2.0. I wanted to see him do better on restarts than his rookie year and save fuel better than his rookie year and save the tires better, and he did every veteran thing I needed today, and I just couldn't be more pleased to be part of this good team.
Yeah, but you made a veteran call going with blacks on the final stint.
You know, we actually figured that out in qualifying yesterday. We did the first session of qualifying and was like, good Lord, these things wore out in like 4 laps. I think the Penske seemed like they could take care of the Reds a little better than us. If we had run Reds the last stint, we would have looked like Simona did out there, and I didn't want to be that guy.
All right, let's call you Craig Hampson 3.0. Nice job. Kevin?
Simona Silvestro just pulled into her spot, and Silvestro got a great hand from the fans and supporters here along pit lane as she was just hanging on, as the guys in the booth were talking about. No tires left. We'll talk to her coming up in just a few moments. It's not her best finish. She got it here at St. Pete a couple of years ago, but it's certainly one of her best drives.
Yeah, that was a gutsy drive to hang on, and she almost got there. But still terrific points. Simona finishes 6th. But the mayor of Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe, is your winner. We'll hear from him when we come back.
You're watching NBC Sports Network's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Honda, an official vehicle of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
The 26-year-old Canadian, James Hinchcliffe, who wears the red racing gloves as a tribute to his Canadian hero, the late Greg Moore, gets his first IndyCar win. Look at that crowd, and he is a very, very popular driver in the IZOD IndyCar Series. It is time for him to celebrate for the very first time in Victory Lane. The winner of the season opener of the IZOD IndyCar Series, the Honda Grand Prix of St. Pete, goes to the man in the GoDaddy machine. Congratulations from his girlfriend, Kirsten. And Hinch always has something interesting to say. This will be special. It's a pretty emotional time, too. He works hard.
Well, there's nothing like your first win.
Nothing like it.
I mean, it really is.
It's not just working hard in the offseason. For any racing driver, it's years of just getting to IndyCar and the blood, sweat, and tears of the lower levels, and then to make it and then to win.
The pressure that comes off your shoulders when you get that first win.
Absolutely.
Do you think he's a proud Canadian? Fantastic drive from the Andretti Autosport man.
What a fantastic drive, and we just heard from your congratulations. We just heard from Craig Hampson. He called you James Hinchcliffe 2.0. Says you're remade, and it was a perfect race.
You know, we talked before the race, and he's like, I'm really excited for this race, and I'm excited to see James Hinchcliffe 2.0. And I said, well, what does 2.0 need to do? I want to do better than 2.1. He said, better restarts, more aggressive passes on track, and save fuel when you need to. And man, we put it to the test today. GoDaddy and Victory Lane and IndyCar is so awesome. I got to thank Bob Parsons and man Chevrolet, all the work they've done over the offseason to grab the first one here in St. Pete. You know, this one I'm throwing out to Dan. This is his hometown. This is his car. And knowing that my face is going to be in that memorial, that's really special.
I can just feel the emotion in the first segment when you had that big vibration. Did you think you had any shot of standing here?
Well, we knew that was it for us on Reg. You know, we knew that was our sticker set. We knew it was going to be tough to put the old ones back on. And after that last restart, everybody else was on Reds. We knew it was going to be tough. And everyone was asking me, you know, what was it going to take to finally become a winner? And I just said minimizing mistakes. No mistakes in the pits, no mistakes on the track. And we capitalized from Elio making some mistakes and just put our heads down and did it. Man, it feels so good. I can't thank Andretti Autosport and GoDaddy and everybody, my family, my girlfriend, everybody's here. And Man, this is awesome. How did my brother in England? He's not here right now. That's the only guy missing.
Well, the rest of the family is standing by here. Congratulations to James Hinchcliffe, his first career IndyCar win. Kevin?
And somebody else that's been getting a lot of hugs is Simona Di Silvestro. Kevin Kalkoven, one of the bosses, was just over, and Mario Andretti, over to congratulate you. What was your day like?
It was awesome. You know, we were running up front the whole day, and it was really cool to be keeping up with them. At the end, it kind of fell a little bit apart. You know, we had the used set of reds on that last stint, and at the end, it was really a struggle to try to keep people behind us, and kind of lost a few positions. But the nuclear clean energy car was pretty good the whole day, so it was a good day for us.
Let's look here on the replay of the last corner, and you ended up 3 wide there at the finish for this.
Yeah, I had like no power. You know, it was just going down, and I think I had too much Chevy power for the tire to handle it right now. So I think that's what happened. But, you know, it was a great day for us, and, you know, I think we can really learn from this and try to be better next weekend when we're in Barber.
All right, you knew you were quick coming into this race, but what did this result do for your confidence moving forward?
Well, it's awesome. You know, I think we all know we can be fast and qualify up front and run up front. So I think now we just have to minimize those little mistakes so we can try to win some races.
Great job.
Thank you.
6 for Simona Di Silvestro. Brian?
Marco Andretti sitting on the wall taking a well-deserved break. Those last 5 laps were absolutely spectacular, and I know Twitter was lighting up and they said this is the Marco Andretti we've been waiting to see since Indianapolis of last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've been working so hard in the off season. I mean, not just physically, but just really just working on where I've been lacking, and these places were a real weak point for me. So it feels good to reap some of the benefit. But congratulations to James. The whole Andretti Autosport team is gelling so well. We got to keep this momentum going. Also, credit to Simona. I mean, she drove a hell of a race.
Well, you put a lot of pressure on Simona there in the final going. Were you aware of how many push-to-passes that she had left and that you were going to be able to motor by?
I just knew that her tires were going off. I mean, I felt for her. As I said, she drove great. I had to muscle her a little bit. It's a selfish sport, man. I need a podium.
He needed a podium, and he got one. Marco Andretti.
And think about Andretti Autosport. They finished the 2012 season with the championship. They begin the 2013 season first and third, 2 spots on the podium.
They have not slowed down from the end of last year at all. Really, really impressed with Hinchcliffe, Simona, obviously, and also Marco. I mean, across the board, we've really seen kind of a bit of a reshuffling today, Wally. When you think about Ganassi's struggles, Penske looks strong, had some bad luck with Will Power, but looks to be a great season ahead.
I think we're going to see a lot of this year. We've seen a lot of different faces up front, and that's just the way IndyCar is right now. It's very competitive, and one guy makes a mistake, and it's going to take you out of it.
One thing that Marco Andretti said was, congratulations to all of Andretti Autosport. We've got to keep this momentum going, and look at that. That's team spirit right there. The reigning champion, Ryan Hunter-Reay, congratulates his teammate, James Hinchcliffe. We've got a new IndyCar star. His name is the Hinch. Back to St. Pete, wrapping things up. This man here, Helio Castroneves, with his daughter, Michaela, and partner, Adriana. He was going for 4 wins, but he couldn't quite get there. And James Hinchcliffe, achieving his first IndyCar Series victory. We know that some of you have turned on to watch F1. That is coming up as soon as we are finished. Here to Brian.
Helio Castroneves standing here, and I can tell he's tired, but there's a little bit of dejection on your face as well. You just said, if you had told me on Friday we would have finished second, I would have gone for it, but I think you thought you had a better car than that when you get to the race time.
Absolutely. I mean, Hitachi car was just awesome. Everything was so good. Team did a hell of a job. Jonathan, John, especially Roger, first race with me. Not bad for second place, but feel terrible for just a small mistake. And no pun intended, I mean, Hinch was really good towards the end. He was pushing very, very hard. I was pushing him on the reds, and hell of a job for him. But this second place feels a little bit better.
And what a great way to start the season, as competitive as the entire series is. When you look back through your career, I'm sure you can remember other times that it was competitive, but this has got to give you, looking forward, you got to think, hey, I've got my work cut out for me.
Oh, no question about it. I'm happy inside. Obviously, but when you have a car like that, sometimes you can't miss opportunities like that because the series is so competitive. Qualifying, we made a little mistake, ended up putting us in 5th place. So I said, that's it. Now we just got to keep going. And unfortunately, another one. But we just got to keep pushing. And like you said, for championship, great points.
And a long way to go. Let's head to Kevin.
Perfect timing. The race is over. The raindrops are just starting to fall. Tony, you promised me before the race that you're going to make up what you thought you should have had in qualifying. Took you 4 laps to get those 4 spots back.
Yeah, I promised you on the start, so I was. I can tell you next time I'll try to keep my promise a little longer. But no, what a great race, great battle with Marco. Extremely happy about the KV racing team. I think 4th and 5th felt so bad for Simona towards the end. I mean, it was going to be her first podium, and I'm actually glad that I wasn't the one that didn't spoil it for her. But we had a solid car. And a little bit of mishap on the pit stop. The car actually died on me, so we lost a few positions. I think we could have finished in the podium if I hadn't lost those 3 positions on the last stop. But great race, and let's move forward.
Good result for Tony Kanaan. He finishes 4th here today. Jan?
With a very frustrated Willpower, you've got to be thinking, man, what do I got to do to catch a break? Let's, I guess, go chronologically. It was going great until a restart with Elio. What happened there?
Well, yeah, the restart, Elio just took off 2nd place. I keep talking to Bo about it, saying, what are we going to do about 2nd place just taking off? He lost me a championship last year when he allowed Hunter Ray to do it, but he just keeps allowing people to do it. So I kind of started doing it myself there when I was starting in 2nd. But and then, JR ran over the back of me there. That kind of ruined our day.
Here's some of the footage of that from Simona Di Silvestro. Now, he did come to talk to you moments ago?
Yeah, he said, he was just looking down his steering wheel, and, it's just a mistake, man. It just happens. And, it would be bad if he was going any faster. It still seems as though he can run up on the back wheels, but at least everyone's okay. And 16th here, not a good day, but keep fighting on.
How do you get yourself motivated? I know that you wanted to just kind of put things behind you here and have something go your way. You just keep pressing on?
Yeah, I would love to have a race go my way. I can't actually think of the last time that happened. That might be Brazil last year. Might be the last time I actually had a race go my way. So, I would love to have a good day.
Well, we appreciate your speed and your honesty. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a tough day for several of the big names. Power 16th, Ryan Hunter-Ray 18th, and Simon Pagenaud, last year's Rookie of the Year, 24th. But it was a magical day for James Hinchcliffe. We'll be back to wrap things up. See you in a moment.
Welcome back to St. Petersburg. Scott Dixon was one of the best movers of the day. Started in 20th position, finished in 5th. All things considered, the way the weekend started, pretty good result?
Yeah, good. Good for the Team Target. They were fantastic on pit stops there. We gained a lot. Bummer at the end, man. We lost a wastegate, which you only had half boost, so that's why we sucked on the restart. It just took forever to build the boost, and we really got slowing down on the straights. So I was hoping that we would have had a good go at the podium there, and I think the car definitely had the speed, hadn't we broken the wastegate there. But all in all, from 20th to 5th, pretty happy, and I got to hand it to Hinchcliffe. Job well done.
Good run today. We'll see you in Birmingham. Scott Dixon, Lee.
Yeah, that's a feeling, Kevin, that'll be reverberating right throughout the paddock. That is positivity and congratulatory messages to James Hinchcliffe. Guys, as we roll through the results, Wally, start with you. Final thoughts.
I think this is going to be a great season for the IndyCars. I mean, like I said, we've seen a lot of different faces up front, a lot of strong competition, and it's great to see a guy like James Hinchcliffe get his first win.
Top 4 in the results. Chevrolet powered. Best Honda driver we just heard from there in Scott Dixon. We're up and running for 2013. Townsend Bell, what do you think?
Oh, Lee, I just can't wait for Barber. I mean, this was an incredible race. Great start to the season. So many storylines. Great competition. It's going to be a barn burner.
Quick reminder that Formula One from Malaysia is coming up next. The IZOD IndyCar Series continues on the NBC Sports Network in 2 weeks' time, Sunday, April 7th at 3 o'clock Eastern for the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama. For more information on the IZOD IndyCar Series, log on to NBCSports.com. We all congratulate James Hinchcliffe, on his maiden IZOD IndyCar Series win. On behalf of Robin Miller, Brian Till, Jan Beekers, Kevin Lee, Wally Dallenbach and Townsend Bell, I'm Lee Diffie. You've been watching IndyCars on your home of open wheel racing, the NBC Sports Network.